became in. But you did, he is mad. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the first show. You made it for the episode 1. What are the odds? I'm at Ref Marsh. Kevlar, tell the people who you are.
I'm at Kevlar on the rocks with an X. I didn't do the X. I'm too busy pouring.
I did it. Let's see. Well, I don't know about you, but after Wednesday night, I definitely needed a chaser, and here we are.
Yes.
Something to wash it out of our mouths.
And out of our memory.
It wasn't all bad. Wasn't all great. Let's see what we got. Hey, how you been, man? You haven't been on in a while. People want to know.
I don't think anyone wants to know.
Probably
but
not.
I'm good.
We're the people.
I'm good.
We are the people.
We're them.
That's it.
And busy?
Just
Not even good, just busy?
Yeah. Well, I'll say good and busy. You know, same old.
That sounds good and sounds busy, dude.
Yeah.
Let's see for news. Oh, what are you drinking, dude?
I am drinking Crown Royal and ginger ale.
Hell yeah. I'm having Sailor Jerry. Does a lot of that. And pumpkin spice cider.
Ooh, how is it?
We're about to find out, man. You missed it the other day. The other show, I started off with this gift that my sister had given me. It was like butane. Just straight up butane.
Did it come in a gas can and everything?
No, it came in a bottle. I think it got corked. I think because it used real cork, I think it actually spoiled it. But whatever. That's what we do. That's what we're here for. We're here for the sponsorships. If you sponsored us, we wouldn't be drinking corked butane. Sailor Jerry, we're talking to you. Crown Royal, talking to you.
Yes, sir. Your mams.
I'll tell you this much. If they were sponsoring us, I wouldn't even need to take a taste to let you know it's fantastic. But since they're not, I don't know. We're going to find out. This might be disgusting. I might have really made a bad choice here. You don't know.
It's all about the initial taste.
Yeah, that first taste, that first grimace, that's the one that gives it all away.
That's when you need to tune into Twitch to see your facial reaction.
Yeah, if you're joining us on Twitch, this is your moment. If you're not joining us on Twitch, you're listening to it on podcast, go ahead and hit that rate and review. Find us on WrestlingRocks.com if you want to figure out how to get into the Twitch, where you can follow and subscribe for free to you if you have Amazon Prime. Okay, that's... Well... Okay. I'm going to mix that a little bit more, maybe.
Wow, that looked... Your face tells it all. That looks rough.
Okay.
And there goes Sailor Jerry.
A delight. There's like moments of both sides. You're like, that part's good. Then this part comes through. Followed up by, getting better. And then taking a turn. It's kind of a roller coaster of a drink.
Yeah, for a second, it almost looked like we were watching Annoying Eaters.
Yeah, not Sam YouTube, Annoying Eater. Always a good show of discipline. Let's see, dude. I got a little bit of news for you. Let me know if there's any news that you know of that we have not hit, all right? You guys who are in the chat can let us know in the chat. We'll read it on live. Kev, if you brought any news with you, let me know if I miss any of it. Let's go ahead and, before we get into all the new stuff and all the new people, let's get it out of the way and talk about it first thing, man. Road Warrior Animal passed away.
Yes.
That was kind of a gut shot.
Yeah, it was... I never... when you hear somebody passing, you never think it's expected unless, they're battling cancer or something like that. But
yeah,
this one was like, kind of took me back, and I was like, shit. I even brought out my little animals behind me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I was a huge fan, loved them. Yeah, I even followed his son in college and the pros.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember even talking to your. I remember growing up, and even when I was growing up with you, and your mom telling me about when you were years before I'd even met you, having the foam Road Warrior thing and coming out all sick and excited and flexing a bunch, and then eventually I remember you finding them, and it didn't fit like it used to. That's for sure.
Yeah, I grew a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually, I think I was in 3rd grade and I got pneumonia. So I was all like frail and skinny, and
Pale.
my mom was like, "Oh, yeah, well, I'm always pale, but paler." But my mom was like, "Oh, I want to lift the spirit," so she bought me those, and I was so excited. I put them on, and I probably weighed all of, 65 pounds, and I was like, "What a rush!"
Yeah. Yeah. I got to meet him. He was back when I was getting back into wrestling a number of years back. It's a lot of time to say back. I ended up going to the New York Comic Con, and he was one of the 4 wrestlers that I was able to run into while I was there. And I remember just walking up to him, meeting him. We didn't have like a long conversation like me and Hacksaw or nothing, but he was really nice. I got to watch him interact with other people too, and he was putting his shoulder pads on everybody while they're taking their pictures and stuff. I was wearing a Batman onesie, and he looked me up and down and was all like, "We'll just stand in front of it." And I was like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
He's like, no pads for you. No.
Yeah, he wouldn't let me put on the pads because I was wearing a Batman onesie. So when you look at the picture of us, we're both putting up our fists. They're behind me.
No, they're in front. They're actually in front of you guys.
They're in front of me. We stood behind them.
Yeah, we posted on Twitter.
Yeah. So he was all like, "We'll just step behind it. You don't need to put it on."
That's when you started contemplating your life choices.
No, I was like, this dude's jealous of my Batman onesie. It's fucked up.
Do you want to put this on while I put on your shoulder pads?
Yeah, we'll switch.
He was
It'd be great.
just a friend of the show. His podcast had followed us, Road Warrior Animal Podcast.
Yeah.
They did follow us, so
The Road Warrior Animal Podcast was a follower of us on social media, which was very cool when it happened. And they're putting together a final show where the host is trying to get people who have a bunch of animal stories, a lot of classic wrestlers, obviously, of that time frame. So if you have anybody you want to hear a story from, go find their Twitter and give it a little at the guy that you want them to try and hook up with, because they're going to do one more big send-off for him, and I think it's probably going to be a really good show.
yeah, it's actually at Joe Roderick is the one who's putting together that final episode, and they also have a shirt that they came out with that's going directly to Animal's family. So all the proceeds are going straight to his wife. Oh, his wife actually designed the commemorative shirt, and that can be found at collarandelbowbrand.com.
Collar and Elbow is the brand that's run by formerly known as Al Snow. They also did the last tribute shirt that they did. Oh my god, I can see it in my head. It's got the work boots. Shepherd?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They did one for him as well. So,
Yeah, Shad Gaspard.
Shad Gaspard. Yeah. Man, I'm bad with names.
Shepherd.
Yeah, the Brooklyn's Own shirt. That was Collar and Elbow.
Sorry, he's just meshing words together at this point.
I gotta write more stuff down. I'm not writing down enough stuff. I'm like, you'll know it when you get there. And it's like, but I don't know it now. It's like, but you'll...
It'll come to you. Have
Yeah.
a couple drinks and it'll come to you.
Yeah, a few sips will be right there on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
So, Animal, obviously a legend. There's a reason that they refer to the Road Warriors pop as being a huge, explosive, cheering. Those guys were something else, and their presence was almost legendary. Probably at this point, not almost legendary. Probably just honestly legendary at this point when they would show up. The way that they actually were utilized through the territories and stuff, and showing up for big spots and being away for a long time always kept them hot and fresh in everybody's mind. So anytime they heard that music or saw those spikes, the roof would blow off the place. So,
Yes.
tears in our beers, a goodbye and an R.I.P. to Road Warrior Animal. It's crazy too. I was just saying the other day. Remember, I was saying I wanted Mickey James to team up with Natty and call themselves the Legends of Divas and have the LOD acronym and come out to "Oh What a Crush."
Yeah, you did say that. And Briscoe said that they just spoke. It's like a couple days ago too, so it's really
for Briscoe's
wild.
birthday. But see him down the road. There's been some really cool fan art going around to him right now too. So if you don't have social media, or if you just want to pop on Twitter, he's worth looking up and seeing all the stuff he's tagged in right now, because there's a lot of really cool stories and cool art going around. I don't think there was any other thing that was that level of sad going on. So we can get into some of the other stuff. Let's see. Let's go with this one. Royce Isaacs of NWA, former NWA Tag Champion, was given his release. The interesting thing about NWA is the way that it's been described by Nick Aldis in his interviews and such is that no one is under contract but him. So it's interesting that we're hearing more and more about like Eddie and Thunder Rosa and Ricky Starks, Colt Cabana, Royce, Zicky Dice supposedly no longer had a contract. I wonder if once you got a title, you ended up with a short-term contract, where other ones where I wonder if those were spot contracts. You know what I mean? Just come out for these 2 days of taping, and that's how long you're under contract for, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Like almost like a tryout type of thing.
Kinda. I mean, the unfortunate bit to me is like I get it. They're a little small and they're being entirely funded by a musician, not by a huge company. So I get it. It does seem a little, I don't know, seems a little weird to have so many storylines so reliant on such specific talent, and then to find out they're not under contract even short periods of time is a little, I don't know, it's a little weird to me, I guess. I mean, we talked about it last show. I don't get contracts, man. I just don't understand them.
Yeah.
But apparently Royce is no longer in one and was in one, so hopefully he'll pop up somewhere soon. And to be honest with Royce Isaacs, that's probably a good move, to be honest. He was the one guy on that roster that I didn't understand what was happening to him anymore. He'd come out when he was part of a tag team that was really gritty and dominant. I forget the name. I want to say it was the Wild Ones or something like that. Wild Card, I think is what it was. And then all of a sudden he ended up in this romance angle. He started coming out in Hawaiian t-shirts. He started getting kind of pushed around by this dude with like a broken arm. And then he was getting like bullied by his seemingly girlfriend. It got really weird. And it was largely not interesting. And then when I went to the taping and I got to meet him, I talked to him for a while. Not like a super long time, but he was like the most appreciative of the fans being there. When I asked him to sign something for me, he was like, "What, really?" Like, he was confused. I asked him how much he wanted, and he's like, "I don't know, $5 maybe." It's like, "Yeah, sure, dude." Like, he was so appreciative and so thrown aback that somebody wanted his autograph and to meet him and stuff. And then talking to him for a little while, he was a really nice guy. So, to be honest, I don't know what was happening with him or that storyline, and I'm kind of glad he's gotten away from it one way or the other. So, hopefully he shows up somewhere where he can maybe be a sidekick. Like, I don't know. Seems to be what's happening with everyone who shows up places now. But hopefully he ends up someplace that'll show a different side of him.
Actually showcases talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Let's talk about this one real quick. Yeah, because that's just it, too, is when he first was in there and he was doing a bunch of matches, he was really good. And then he started doing these weird storylines and not wrestling. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. Let's see. Tegan Nox. It's looking a lot like she's got another ACL injury.
Oh.
It feels like kind of a lot in a short period of time. You know what I mean? Since she's come in, that's like, what, her third or fourth?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's scary. It sucks. I hope she gets through it quickly and gets back in the ring. And that's just it too. Is that I think was she in the Battle Royal? Did you catch her in there? I thought I saw her in there.
She was eliminated beforehand because what's her name? Candice LeRae attacked her and attacked her knee backstage.
Oh. So she must have had
So
the injury prior to that, and they did that to get her out of the thing.
Yeah, because for you to say that, I was like, I didn't hear that, and I was kind of like, oh shit, so there was their escape right there. Or, you know, it wasn't just kayfabe, like.
Yeah, I missed the absolute opening of NXT. I came in when the Battle Royal was still happening, so I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's that. I haven't seen like major confirmation. I haven't seen her tweet out something about it specifically. She changed her picture on Twitter she put her face over Michael Scott's body where he put his foot in bubble wrap because he had stepped on the George Foreman grill. Remember that episode?
No.
He liked to wake up to the smell of bacon, so he would put the George Foreman grill next to his bed, and he had woken up late and stepped on the Foreman grill and burnt his foot. And so he had his foot in bubble wrap on the desk. I'm telling you guys, it's a real thing. It's a thing, you know. I didn't write it.
Who leaves?
President burn his house?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people were surprised during that episode for different reasons. But Tegan had put her own face over Michael Scott with her basically with the foot and bubble wrap up there. So I don't know if it's true or not. So I don't want you to be, quoting us as breaking news or something. It's just something I was reading. It looks more and more possible. There's a lot of people talking about it at this point. So I think that there's room enough to talk about it. If it's the case, I hope it's not the case for too long.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It seems like every time she's getting her footing, she gets set back by injuries and.
It's such a bummer. She's so good.
Yeah.
Well, I only got one more thing in the news. So unless there was something you wanted to cover in the news, Kev, is there anything?
No, I just got an alert that the Pac-12 is going to start football and basketball soon. They said they were going to cancel it. So.
Well, but they're doing it for like six or 7 games or something. It's like a one or 2 month thing. It starts in November, ends in December. That's going to be the whole season.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I just saw that they were coming back, and I was like, all right, no fans, let's do it.
Yeah, forget it. But yeah, it's only a couple games, so it's like a season to say you had a season, but not like actually have a season.
Yeah, they're probably just catching up with the rest of the conferences and just saying, hey, we're going to start conference-only games, and that's it.
Yeah.
But whatever. As long as, like, I don't know. I think it's newsworthy just because I like to see progress. Like, we're kind of getting past this crap.
But are we? I think is the real question. Is just because we're opening up stuff and saying, hey, we've decided to ignore the threat, does that mean that there's less of a threat or not? And that kind of rolls into the next topic I had. Lance Archer, Ben Carter, and Serena Deeb have all tested positive for COVID, and they have all announced it as such. In an article I was reading about it too, it sounded like there were more people in AEW who had tested positive, but the names are just not being released, which is also fine. I'm not here to say, hey, I deserve to know your medical history. HIPAA is a real thing, like I think absolutely it's respectful to the people who don't want to mention it, that they shouldn't have to. And I didn't think that WWE needed to put out a press release of everyone who's tested positive or not, and I don't think AEW should have to either. The same with when WWE had cases. We talked about the people who said they had it and kind of only talked about those scenarios. Same thing here, so far as I'm concerned. Serena, Ben, and Lance have all been on in the past couple weeks. Ben Carter was on Tuesday night for the late night Dynamite. He had a match against Scorpio Sky. And Lance Archer was on just last week's Wednesday because they were building up to that 3-on-3 match.
Thought I should also kind of correct that. Serena Deeb, She said she came into contact with someone who later tested positive. So she's taken precautions. Nowhere in there does she say that she's positive. She just says she's self-quarantining for 10 days as a precaution. So
okay, so Serena's been in contact with someone who has tested positive and is going to then therefore quarantine herself. And I'm sure she'll be tested at some point during that as well. But so I mean that's good too. So she did not test positive. Crush that right here. However,
you heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it here first. She did not test positive. Yeah, breaking. Let's see real quick in the chat. I don't know. She was exposed to someone who was. Bear Nanigans. If any person in wrestling needs to release their medical records, it's Vince. Just how does he exist? It's probably true. There's something coursing through his blood. Yeah, yeah. He just chews on stem cells like it's jerky. Just
yeah.
He just got like a Tic Tac bottle of them. Just throws a couple back. But so they ended up having to, for AEW, they had to rewrite their main event. The main event was supposed to be Lance Archer and I believe it was the Lucha Brothers against Moxley, Darby, and Will Hobbs. And they ended up making a last-minute decision to turn it into Moxley versus Eddie Kingston for the world title, which not a match I'm complaining about. Really excited to see the match. We also all knew where it was going, and I think that's a bit of a shame. I wish there was a little bit more surprised. How incredible would it have been if Kingston won it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that would have had people talking. But he didn't win it. We can get into that in a little bit. But at the end of the day, Lance Archer and Ben Carter did test positive. Serena Deeb was exposed to somebody, which could have been one of those people as well. My concern is I don't know how many people are in contact with these people and testing in general after the fact, right? So Lance had a story where he said that after he left, he went home from the last taping and someone in his home was sick and then found out that someone had like taken his dog to the vet and the person who took the dog to the vet had tested positive. So then they all tested or whatnot and he ended up showing positive for COVID. So he believes he contracted it after taping and before coming back effectively. Ben Carter just says he doesn't know when he got it, but he's got it. And Serena didn't release like obviously who or when she was exposed. So there's a lot of vagueness in all of that. And the concern I had was that he announced this and then the same day is the day of Dynamite and Taz is on TV. I got no problem with Taz at all, and I'm sure he took a test to go in, but test results aren't immediate. Like, I had to take a test, and it was a 2-3 day turnaround.
But you're not in AEW.
Yeah, I'm not in AEW. You're in a medical environment. Are there any 24-hour or less tests that you're aware of?
Normally it's 24 hours. There's a few tests that I've heard that takes about 24 hours. And that's also with, I don't know how to explain it, like the pure numbers coming in, like the big numbers coming in. And so I would imagine like AEW, hopefully WWE as well, has a, like an agreement or a contract with a lab to say, hey, get us these, samples back quick. I know the NBA, I heard that they would, when they first started the bubble, I heard at first that they were going to test everyone weekly. And then I heard that they were going to test everyone daily, all the players daily. And it's like, they probably, outsourced a lab and said, hey, give us these results immediately, and I'm sure it'll take less than that to get them back.
I bet you some of these guys got to have like lab trucks, like the way you see those blood donor trucks go around. I bet you there's got to be a couple of those for these billionaire companies to be able to say, hey, pop that lab right in front. We're going to have people test, and you're just going to run those tests right now because we got to know today. But even then, 24 hours is still like the max, right? I mean, it's still the min. Like, you're always going off of yesterday's news at that point, right?
Yeah.
So, I just would think that if someone said they tested positive and you were clearly within 2 feet of them, no mask, talking and opening your mouths at each other, that you might say, hey, I might sit out 1 or 2 and wait for a test result to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I'm doing right now for work. I'm doing like the COVID tracing, and like anyone that those folks were in contact with, they've got to trace back and say, hey, you might want to sit out too, and it goes on and on.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is that if you're always running off yesterday's news, if he did get it, I mean, Florida in and of itself is having a lot of cases. I don't think this is like an AEW problem, but I do think that if you're not taking precautions as though everyone did have it, and I don't say shut it down, I'm not saying all that, but no one's wearing masks at all, and they have a lot of people crowded up, and they're clearly all walking around in the back without masks on. It just seems to me that it's just going to take one person to test negative today but positive tomorrow for a huge outbreak to potentially hit. You know what I mean? And that goes for WWE as well. Watching Raw Underground, almost nobody in the Raw Underground is wearing masks at this point, and you just think that, hey, I'm seeing people in the Raw Underground who are not contracted to WWE and who I know for a fact, because they post stuff about it, that they were in some indie show in some random place and traveling 2 states away just a couple days prior. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if we're commingling the way that we are, and our tests are only good for yesterday, just makes me a little nervous for the potential for a huge outbreak to hit as Florida starts seeing more and more cases as they have been.
Yeah.
Baron Anakin's in the chat saying, oh, for one, if Kingston won, he would have cried big okay bitch tears. He would slap me for. I think that I agree. I would have probably cried if he did. And then Baron Anakin says, to be fair, we are seeing the fans in masks, which is true, and I think that's good. And I have no problems with. I'm not even complaining about the fans, because the fans are also pretty far away from all the talent except for Moxley. Moxley's the only one who's constantly next to the fans out there, where there's a bunch of distance between it seems to be a bunch of distance between the fans and the performers at all times outside of that. But it's the performers who have tested positive here. No fans have said that they're tested positive. So if Lance Archer was in the back and none of them are wearing masks in the back, then the fans are relevant at that point. Let's see. Yep, Fabtina. But what about the wrestlers? Only a start with the fans. They got to protect themselves too. Yeah, and that's just it. If the fans aren't spreading it to the performers, but the performers are spreading it amongst themselves, it's still the same problem to me. You know.
Yeah.
I actually think that AEW is doing a pretty good job with the fans, as far as keeping them further away and stuff. I know, but what am I going to do? Just sit here and quietly? So.
You think that they're doing a good job?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I think AEW is doing a fine job with the fan stuff. You know, I think that it's been fun to see them cut over to them. I do think that just because we're so used to the big stadium sounds versus the empty arena sounds, it does sound a little bit spread out, but that's probably good. I think they could probably mic the few fans they have better. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. But I think as far as the way that they're coming about with the fans, I have no problems with it. It sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty safe. And I don't think that they're the ones who got these guys sick. You know, I think these guys got it from somewhere else. But at the same time, I don't know. No one's talking about it. But
I'm back. Sorry.
Hey. I was just saying that I don't really have a problem with how AEW is handling their fans. I just think that my only problem with the fans, I don't think they're mic'd well enough, so they don't fill in the sound like I would like them to. But I think as far as the masks, the restrictive areas, all that stuff, I think they're doing a pretty good job with all that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think my hero of the week was one of the AEW fans. He had a Domino's Pizza mask while wearing a Taco Bell shirt.
That's pretty good. Yeah. That is pretty good.
I guess I missed that.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, I would like to hear the crowd a little bit more in AEW, and you know, I heard them a little bit with Miro, but that was pretty much it.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're doing a good job. I like the way they're spacing them out. Sometimes some of their camera angles make them look a little more clustered than I think that I would personally be comfortable with sitting in. But they're obviously not uncomfortable, and they're having a good time. And to me, I think there's validity in that, right? Like, we're all kind of going through our own comfort levels and stuff. I don't think that I would want to sit as close as some of these people are sitting, but same time, it could just be camera angles. We've seen a lot of poor camera angles making things look bizarre. I mean, Kofi Kingston takes the most advantage of weird camera angles, always doing some sort of move that makes you go, I thought he was going a different physical direction than he ended up landing. You know what I mean?
Like optical illusions.
Yeah, his optical illusion jumps. But
I remember that one last year. I forgot who he was going against, and I watched that thing about 15, 20 times, and we talked about it. We're like, that was so crazy.
Yeah, and Corey broke.
Like he was jumping forward, but he was jumping backwards, and
Yeah, Corey saw the same thing. I remember him commentating with like calling it an optical illusion because he thought like, "Oh, Kofi's jumping." He's like, "Oh," and he landed somewhere else. He's like, "That was an optical illusion." Like,
yeah.
But that's just to say that camera angles play a big role in what we're seeing.
Yes, and that was actually what I was going to bring up with. Speaking of camera angles, is AEW as a whole.
Yeah, let's get into AEW. Let's just talk about AEW.
Anything else in the news?
I had nothing else in the news. I just want to talk about those people. I do hope that they make it back. Obviously, I think Serena Deeb is a huge signing for AEW and could absolutely change their entire women's wrestling dynamic as if she's coaching and stuff. Ben Carter, I thought, did a great showing on Tuesday. I liked him a lot. I think he's got a lot of skills to be really big. To me, the only real bummer is that he's doing all this impressive shit, but it's the same stuff we see everyone else do. It's starting to me to be a little bit underwhelming to see somebody do a standing shooting star press and a frog splash in AEW just because you see those spots multiple times in a match at this point. That by the time you see someone like this guy who's trying to make a name for himself, trying to prove himself and get a contract, you're like, oh, you're just doing the same things. Everyone does those here. So he's got to do something, I think, a little bit bigger or something different to stand out a little bit more. But with that in mind, he was doing that stuff super clean, and he was selling really well. And I thought that the match he had with Scorpio Sky was good. But at the end of the day, nothing about it in my mind stuck out as like, this guy's heads and tails above the rest. You guys got to catch him. But he did seem like, hey, here's a really good talent that I would like to see more of down the line. But
just didn't separate him enough from everyone else yet.
Yeah, the type of stuff you used to do to be seen is just the stuff that everyone's doing now. So I almost wonder if like we'll start seeing someone pop up for some of these matches that are just like doing straight chain wrestling and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But go ahead, let's get into AEW. I want those three talents back. I think it's a huge divot in their roster. Also, when you think about it, there was like half dozen other people who were typically on week to week who were not on this week. So it makes me wonder in that regard as well. I don't think AEW's roster is deep enough to function well if they do have an outbreak. I think WWE struggled hard when they had any level of an outbreak, and they've got a much deeper roster. So, Kev, go ahead. Let's talk about AEW. What was the thing you were going to say about AEW and then I think camera angles?
Yeah, camera angles. So, I remember it was the Royal Rumble when John Cena made his return, and they had the entrance behind the ring. And I remember how I loved it. Yeah. And there was a lot of things that Vince hated about it. He doesn't like it, this and that. And when AEW did it, I was like, cool, it's something different. This is awesome. I like it. I liked it back then. But watching AEW more and more, I realize the reason why that doesn't work as well. And it was mainly outside of, just random camera angles during the matches, but it was mainly with God dang it, I can't remember his name. Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
Where he comes in, throws that spear on, I think it was Darby.
Yeah. Cut him in half almost.
Yeah, it was great. But you saw him. You saw him walk up. You saw him set up, and then you saw him hit him. And I was like, you know what? If the camera or if the entrance was on the other side where the camera angle doesn't see, that would have been 1,000 times more like impressive and shocking almost.
So
You know, like,
you
oh,
missed
shit,
the element
like,
of surprise.
yeah, like, you know, if it came out of nowhere, it'd been like, oh shit, that was awesome. Where you saw it and you're like, oh, he's gonna hit him, and you know he nailed him with a great spear. But you know, if you didn't see him set up and didn't see him, and I noticed in a couple other matches where just the way the camera angle was facing, you saw where they were setting up, and you know you could see what was about to happen, and then it happened.
Yeah, I think they've, because of how it's set up right now, and it's probably just because they're stuck at dailies, there's very little surprise happening at this point because you can see people walking down the tunnel. They always catch them. You'll even see them walk halfway down the tunnel and stop. There's been times people from Dark Order have stood over at the back corner like you're not supposed to see them, but you can see them the whole time. And you're like, what are they doing? And then somehow... Yeah, and people will come and go over there, and the ref gets distracted sometimes, but not other times by it. And I think the way that they're utilizing that ramp to distract refs also is just completely stupid. They make the refs look so dumb, and the refs actually looked absolutely terrible in this episode of AEW.
This week, like, that's always been a down thing for me with AEW is the ref and ref disruption. And this week I was like, oh my god, like, absolutely terrible. I know during the tag match with Sonny and Janela, both of them were in the ring and they forgot to tag and they looked at each other, tagged each other while they're both in the ring, and the ref accepted it. And I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, the refs are just there to not get in the way in some weird sense. It's insane. There was also a number of times, and this is one where I guess I blame the company. Because there was a number of times that the refs were saving the finish on behalf of the wrestlers because they did not kick out in time. There was like 3 times during this during this Dynamite where they really, really did not kick out in time. And they just didn't count to 3. It was like 1, 2, and then they swipe, and then they kick out. And you're like, that was too much time.
2.5, 2 3/4.
Yeah, I'm not counting it. And it was the ref trying not to botch the finish, but it was the wrestlers not doing their job and kicking out on time. So part of me blames the ref because I'm like, hey, if you don't kick out, I'm counting. Tristan Law was on here not that long ago from the Tristan Law Show. Check out his podcast. And he was saying, like, everywhere he's ever wrestled in the places that they talk about it, it's not up to the ref to know the finish. It's up to the wrestlers to kick out at the right time and perform the finish. And if you don't kick out in time, boom, new champion. Sorry. We'll sort it out later. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of under that same impression, but I get the impression just based off of the year that we've been seeing AEW that from up top down, they're telling the refs the exact opposite. They are here to stay out of the way. You're here. You're part of the show. You're a dancer. You're a singer. You're whatever now.
Ref cosplay
Nitro Girl
is what I think of.
Yeah, ref cosplay. So it's, at all costs, this is the only moment you count to 3. I don't care what else happens. I don't agree with that, but that's what it feels like is happening. So this was a bad one for refs. As JR said famously in an episode just not that long ago, this is not a great match if you're a fan of officiating. But
I love how brutally honest he's getting.
Yeah. But on the same side, I actually liked this episode of Dynamite. Overall.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I think it was good. There's a few, things. Like I said, the camera angle is what kind of just dawned on me this week. Was like, holy shit, like, if you guys set it up, in a traditional way, I think a lot of these botches and a lot of these, surprises wouldn't be so, prevalent.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of the ref distraction that is happening up there is bad. It's so bad. So I agree. I think that angle should probably change. But at the same time, I don't think it's really something we can blame them on too much because this is the setup they have until they can travel again.
Yeah, I mean, you got to work with your environment, but I don't
That's
know.
true.
I mean,
Why don't they come from the
I
side
think,
or something? I don't know.
yeah, well, look at where Moxley comes from. You could set up the ramp right there.
Yeah.
You know,
Make it a
like,
longer ramp, sort of like a Royal Rumble style.
yeah, yeah, I was gonna say WWE has put entrances in different stadiums and arenas across the nation. Like, they don't have to have that camera view.
Hmm.
They can switch it up, but I don't know. I think that's what they liked. It was interesting at first, and then, like I said, there's a lot of surprises that get almost spoiled because of the camera view.
Actually, when they first set up at Daly's Plaza, didn't they have the ramp only off to the left? And where we see the ramp now, didn't they have like some fans and a big screen?
I think so. When they did
Yeah.
didn't they do a like a pay-per-view there or something?
Yeah. And they had it way off to the side.
Yeah,
And now they've
yeah.
centered
I
it.
think they came in and yeah.
Huh. Probably the pyro. Probably the pyro. They want to invest more in the entrances. Because I do remember thinking the entrances were kind of weak on that pay-per-view just because it was like so short. And you were just all of a sudden in the ring. Well, overall, though, I thought AEW was a pretty decent show. I'll tell you this. Miro and Kip Sabian as a couple, I am not feeling.
Not a couple. He's marrying Penelope.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Oh, is that the woman in black? Was that Penelope?
Yeah, fake Liv Morgan.
I definitely kind of had to like stop short and be like, wait a minute, why is she kind of trying to look like Liv Morgan?
She looked an awful lot like Liv Morgan.
To the point where she was wearing the same choker.
I mean,
same necklace.
That's a relatively popular choker. When I was in high school, every girl had that same choker. And then like 3 of them had them in a different color, but it was the same thing. So I can't knock her completely for having that choker, but she also had the same hair color and clothing look. I definitely thought she looked a little bit more like Liv than I would have liked, but the image is working for Liv, and if AEW truly says that they're the alternative and that you are watching AEW because you don't watch WWE, then maybe that's the move to make. Hey, you like Liv Morgan? We have one of those.
Yeah, they're doing it with Bailey, so I guess it makes sense. We have a role model too.
Yeah, they got a role model like Bailey. We can name them that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, but that's how the show. Oh wait, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just in that match though, there's one thing I did want to bring up, especially just what happened with
so
Hardy.
much I want to bring up. This match to open the show, quite honestly, this was setting the stage for an uphill battle. However, in the regard of this was so bad that you're going to have to pull me out of this to like it. Not that this was so good you have a lot to overcome. This was a total train wreck. They tried several times to do tandem offense that came off horrible. There's one clip. I should have sent you some of these. There's one where Kip Sabian runs towards Miro on the outside. And Miro...
that's what I was going to bring up. Drops him on his head.
Yeah.
Well,
he doesn't even look behind him to see who were they facing even? Janela and Sonny Kiss. So Janela's on the outside. Miro doesn't even turn around to see where Janela is. Hoists Kip Sabian over, but also underthrows him, so they get tangled and then just dumps him on his head. And Janela, who's like 3 feet away, just falls over.
Yeah. Well, and Janela, because with the announcers, he countered that move. Janela wasn't even the one that was supposed to get hit. Janela countered that move and hit Sabian.
That's what they're saying?
Yeah, that's what they said. The announcer said, because I was like, what the fuck was that? But anyway, what I was going to bring up with that is that they literally just dropped Sabian on his head, and, they didn't show it, speaking of camera angles, But to me, it looked like no one checked on him except for Joey Janela, which they show for a second. He's like, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" And Sabian's just laying there.
Yeah, no one gets checked on, man. It's insane. Dude, and they were so uncoordinated. They spent forever to even get Miro into the match. This was Miro's first match in AEW. And he came off as the most skilled person in the sloppiest match.
Yeah. Well, I don't
even
know. Sunny Kiss looked good just because, she always looks good. But,
yeah, but I also thought there was a ton of uncoordination there, too. Here's the thing. The whole match was built to make Kip Sabian and Sunny Kiss look good. But it's Miro's debut match.
Yeah.
Why were they involved at all? It took minutes. It was like 5-6 minutes before Miro even got into the match. And then he was barely in it and tagged back out. I didn't understand it at all, man.
No. I at first I kind of understood the hype. Miro gets Sabian, tags himself in, and it's like, whoa, not yet, like a little tease.
Yeah.
But then it just was like so flat and so blah. David,
there was
where's
a
Clump at?
ton.
We need to talk to him about this shit.
Yeah, hey. It was really weird. It was an awful way, I think, to debut someone as good as we know Miro is. And the match itself was just sloppy, dude. There was so many missed spots, so many missed things. It didn't make any sense. There was, and even their finisher, they used FTR's finish.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? And they didn't do a very good job of it.
No.
Kip Sabian, the more I see Kip Sabian in the ring, the less I think I need to see him in the ring. I thought when he first came on that he was really good. I remember seeing a match with him and thinking, oh, this guy could be huge. And now it's to the point where it's like, no, I think that probably not. Probably I'm done with you already.
It's the story of, pro sports in a contract year. Like, hey, it's a contract year. They're going to be a free agent. They work their ass off. They bust their ass. They look great. They give them the contract, and then they stop.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Kip Sabian's got that kind of vibe going to him right now. He's like, hey, I got my contract. I'm getting paid. I don't have to try.
Maybe. Miro got hurt. He hit his ankle real good. I was reading a thing that supposedly he's not going to miss any ring time, that he wasn't severely hurt, but he did, yes, legitimately twist his ankle.
But did he get checked out by AEW doctors or actual doctors?
Well, that's a good point. They'll clear him regardless. He'll be cleared either way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, if there's anything we've learned from Hardy.
Also, this is one other thing too. Just to throw this out there. There is so much bullshit happening on the internet right now about the positive test for COVID. And I can't even jump in to defend them much because it's like, you guys, what did you think was going to happen? Like, you're a company that outright took pot shots at another company who had stars test positive. You decided to make a jab about it instead of taking it as a serious concept for your wrestlers as well. This was only a matter of time before one of your guys eventually got it. You guys are in Florida. There's no way no one is going to get it in the company. So now that the internet's all like, well, shut it down. Oh, you guys are a sloppy shop. And now they're all coming out trying to defend themselves and defend AEW. And it's like, guys, this is exactly what you wanted to happen. I don't know how you're suddenly confused.
Yeah.
I'm not being a part of it because I don't agree with a lot of the sentiment. I just think that they made a shitty comment, and now you're going to get shitty comments because now you guys are dealing with something similar. And it's stupid. It's all stupid.
Mm-hmm. Stupid.
Let's see. Baron Anakin said, no one died at least. Legit concern now. Yeah. Also says he fell through a wood chipper. We cleared the stump that we pulled out. I think it's a matter of time unless they take precautions, Blue Boyd says. Yeah. I don't know. People aren't being checked when I think they should. There's times I'm watching it and I'm yelling at the ref for being outside of the ring or not counting, and there's other times I'm yelling because I'm just all like, someone ask him if he's fine. Look in his eyes. Yeah. Someone go look him in the eyes. But I thought that
But, yeah.
Miro came off very second fiddle and very sidekick in this. I cannot wait for Miro to turn on Kip Sabian and just rip him apart and be done and move on, because that's the only place this could be heading if anyone there's got any smarts. Because if you lock him in with Kip for an extended period of time, it's just going to be dead weight for Miro. He's a bigger star, you know?
Yes.
I was
Big time.
really,
And I was... Go ahead.
Go ahead, producer.
I was really hoping that Miro was gonna have a different entrance and just a little bit of difference from his last place. I wanted to see a new Miro, a new character.
Yeah, this is just Blonde Rusev. He's doing everything the same. Even his entrance is the same. The way that he stands, what he does at the ramp, what he does before he does his finishers. His finishers are the same. He's the only one, I think, to come over who's made no change at all, except for his hair. Kev, what were you about to say?
Well, I was going to say, exactly what you just said about Miro turning on Kip Sabian. I just hope it doesn't last to the wedding, because I think that's, oh, you're my best man, we're going to have our wedding this day, and then he turns on him and destroys everyone. Like, after this match, it needs to happen yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's just have him turn, have him attack everyone, and be done with it, move on, get him somewhere else.
100%. I can't wait for his next thing. And that's just it. I'm really excited for Miro, and I think that he can have a big chance to shine here in AEW. I don't think this is it, and I can't wait for him to move on to the next thing, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Let's see. After that, we had Adam Page versus Evil Uno, which is kind of more of the same. I don't know why Kenny keeps being on commentary. He's incredibly boring and brings nothing to the match. So I'm over that idea. I don't think you need him on commentary to push the idea that we understand he's not friends with Hangman anymore. I think that we can go ahead and stop him on commentary and just go a different way.
Yeah.
Outside of that, to me, when business really picked up, it was actually right after that. The TNT Championship match with Brody Lee versus Orange Cassidy. I have not been quiet about how much I do not enjoy Orange Cassidy or a single Orange Cassidy match I've ever seen.
What?
This match. Yeah. What? This match, honestly, I really liked. And this match it's the most sense of any Orange Cassidy match I've ever seen. This was the best laid out match I've seen from, I think, either one of these guys. This was, to me, match of the night. This was awesome.
Yes. I haven't been an Orange Cassidy fan either. I don't like his gimmick. I don't like his play. Yeah. But I was actually rooting for him for a little bit. And I was like, pull this off. Shut Brody Lee down. Change it. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's, flip the script, if you will. But it lost me when Brody was trying to do the discus clothesline, and he just falls. At first, I was like, cool. Then they did it like 2 or 3 more times, and I was like, stop. Then the announcer started with, hey, this might be a ploy to have him fall in your trap. And I'm like, you don't need to explain that. Just let it play out. If you do it once, maybe twice, cool. Have him counter, do his thing. But we don't need, wrestling by numbers, basically. We don't need it laid out for us.
Yeah, you don't need to tell me all that stuff. I'll tell you this, getting into the match, at the beginning, I did think this might be a match booked for me in general because of I don't like either person. I think both of them, and I shouldn't say it as people, I'm sure the people themselves are nice and good people. But I don't like either of these performers. I don't like them. I don't like these. I don't like Orange Cassidy. I don't like Brody Lee. So you kind of want them both to lose. But I also for part of me it was like, anyone winning is good because it's kind of bad for the other character depending on how they go about it, right? So late into it, I was already like, yeah, I kind of want to see like a fight, and I want to see if Orange Cassidy wins, that'd be amazing. Because what a way to stomple on Brody Lee. But if Brody Lee wins, judging by how Brody Lee's been doing his own stuff, that's going to make Orange Cassidy look kind of bad after having, was it like 2 wins over Jericho? I was like, that could potentially, stop Orange Cassidy in his tracks, right? Yeah. However, I think they actually pulled it off in a really good way where I don't feel like either one of them is lesser than for coming out of it. Baronanigans is losing his mind over there, saying he's going to slap me with how I could like this match. I'll say this about the match. It made so much sense because not for 1 second did Brody Lee play into this shitty character of Orange Cassidy. The lazy hitting, the dumb spots. Brody attacked Orange more viciously during those spots than other spots. And for a while, he was just straight up dominating and beating the shit out of Cassidy. So for me, I'm all like, yeah, I'll do it. But when Cassidy finally started to turn it around, it was the first time in any of the matches I've seen in AEW with Orange Cassidy where his comeback didn't, you for one, couldn't see it coming a mile away and wasn't so heavily reliant on the other guy having to cooperate so heavily, right? This came off as the actual character that people keep saying that Orange Cassidy's that I don't see, right? They're always saying like, oh yeah, he's lazy, doesn't care, but then he gets pushed to a certain point and then he starts fighting back and then it turns out he fights back really well when he's pushed to his limit, right? This was the first time I saw Orange Cassidy get pushed to his limit before doing that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when he started doing it in desperate ways. It started with desperation and moving into levels of dominance and trying to do these things to win and go through. And him kicking out of a lot of the other moves really seemed like defiantly kicking out. Like, I know I'm getting my ass kicked and I may... Baron Anakin says I'm going to bail out. Y'all have a good night. I think we pissed him off too much. Cheers.
And I'm out.
Yeah. But I also felt like Orange Cassidy, cheers, looked like he was defiantly kicking out. Like, I might get my ass kicked all night here, but I'm not giving you the win. I'm not just going to be done with this. I'm going to fight this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it actually played out that way. I was really surprised and impressed. By the end of it, I was kind of like, oh, for the different finishes and stuff, or false finishes, and I was pretty stoked.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like this match, and I like, outside of, the shit I already complained about, I had a glimpse, like you just said, of what people like about Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
That, his character, at first I was like, cool, just laid back, doesn't give a shit, like, almost like Bill and Ted. Like, alright, cool. And I was like, whatever, then I saw him, matches, and I was like, this is stupid. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And then watching this, I was like, okay, I see where it's coming from now. I can get behind it. And I was actually, once again, rooting for Cassidy because I think a lot of what AEW does, they play it too safe right now. This was supposed to be the alternative, the flip-flop. Just like, we'll talk about Kingston and Moxley. But I was like, how great would that be if Orange Cassidy won? He's a fan favorite. People would like it. It'll come out of, seemingly nowhere. And we'd have a new TNT champ. And one thing I will say real quick is before this match, like I said, I never liked Orange Cassidy, but that Orange Cassidy shirt from the wrestling crate, that was fucking awesome. I was like, holy shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
And, check out our YouTube. Marsh is, unboxing the pro wrestling crate, and I was like, that's a cool shirt. Like, I don't want anything Orange Cassidy, but I saw that and I was like, I kind of want it. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that one made me laugh. And a lot of the Orange Cassidy shirts I've seen have not made me laugh, but that one did. So, check us out. WrestlingLarks.com. You can find all of our links. You can find our YouTube. You can find a way to subscribe. You can find a way to follow. And there's definitely a way you can rate and review. So, I agree. I felt like this was the first time I really saw Orange Cassidy in a way that I thought, okay, I want to see more. Every other time I've not. Matter of fact, that street fight, which I was going on about how it was really good last time, to be quite honest, the moment Orange Cassidy came out, that's around the time I checked out of the match. The whole match up until that point, I was like, very good. Then Orange Cassidy comes out and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot this is all a joke. Forget it.
And it's done.
Yeah, and that's it. And then after that, everything after that was a joke. So it was just, he's always to me symbolic of don't take any of this seriously. Don't be invested. Don't be emotionally invested in any of the characters. It's all a joke. We don't want you to feel emotions for these people. We just want you to watch and point and laugh. And I was like, oh, I watch wrestling for all of it.
Yeah, he almost feels like the AEW version of R-Truth without admitting he's dumb and playing into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's definitely, you see him come out and you go, oh, okay, now it's time to laugh again.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't think he's as just naturally funny either.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's also going for the jokes. I think he just can't be taken seriously. And this was a match where I could take him seriously for the first time since AEW started.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Brody Lee does win. He ends up getting pretty pissed off and cutting a pretty mean promo because at this point the lights go out, as they always do. And someone made a return, as they always do. What did you think about the lights going out? They kick back on. It's weird, creepy blood stuff, and then kicks into the anthem of Cody Rhodes.
I'll be honest, I don't follow AEW enough, so I didn't know it was Cody Rhodes even when the music hit.
Nice.
And then I saw it, I think it said American Nightmare on it. I was like, oh, Cody's back. Cool.
Yeah.
And then I saw him with his new hairdo. He had to go anti-Miro because he could only have 2 M&Ms on one show. One real Slim Shady.
Yep.
And I liked it. It was cool. He showed an edge. But then, just looking at him, I was like, bro, just, quit dyeing your hair. Just be you, first of all. Second of all, why is all of the elite all of a sudden heels? It seems.
I love it. They've all turned heels separately, and they're no longer together because now they're all bad. But it's like you guys are all faces together, and you all turned evil. Why aren't you guys still together? You guys are all on the same page. You guys are still on the same page. What's the problem? And if there's one thing AEW is severely lacking in, it's a heel faction.
Yeah, and
they're all heel factions. All of them are heel factions.
Yeah.
They have 100% heel factions.
I don't know. It was weird that they weren't the elite when they should have been. Like, when they're introducing AEW to everyone. And now that they've gotten, comfortable, now they're all heels together, but they're not together. And
yeah, it's a little weird. And I'll be honest, I think I even said it, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, or maybe I just told you on the phone. I said, I'm still not used to Cody's blonde hair. I still don't like it. I wish he would go back to dark hair again. I think he went a little far. I didn't know he was going to come out dressed like an Addams Family.
Yeah,
but
just go
bro. I was definitely thinking. I was thinking Vampire Diaries.
Vampire Diaries? Yeah, the guy went full vampire. He goes Gomez Addams. Yeah. I get it. It's a good look. It's a little startling. I don't know if you need that. I don't, there's so much thought process that are put into the look alone. In not just them, but in a lot of wrestlers. We can get into a little bit later too. Shotzi. I think that she spends more time figuring out her look and style than she's spent in the ring, figuring out her moveset. Mm-hmm. It's not to say she's not good and doesn't have a lot of hope. It's just the impression I got early on. This is one where I think that Cody was like, oh, let's do a death of Cody Rhodes and a resurrection of Cody, and I'll dye my hair from blonde to black, and now I'll wear the Addams Family gear and dark red socks instead of the light red socks. And you're like, okay. And Tony's just like, yeah.
Yeah. See, I would have just preferred if he just shaved his head.
Oh, that'd been gnarly.
Go out there and be like, Yeah, just like, oh, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden he's pissed off and mean and, okay, this makes sense instead of just dyeing his hair a different color.
Ooh, what if he shaved his head and grew in a goatee?
Yeah. Just come out in black trunks and that's it.
Yes.
Yes.
That'd be so good.
I feel like Brandy would hate all of
A
this.
couple knee braces on.
I'll tell you, if Brandy's against it, it's probably good TV because I've seen the stuff that she thinks is. Yeah, here's the deal. I actually really liked his look in general. I thought it was a little bit more than I needed it to be, but like you said, natural brown I think is what he actually looks best in anyways. Never gotten used to the blonde. Now it looks jet black and it's like, okay, we've got My Chemical Romance Cody.
I almost said that. We were talking about stuff earlier. I literally almost said My Chemical Romance. Good shit.
Yeah, dude, he's got the Black Parade suit on.
Mm-hmm. Teenagers scare the living shit out of him.
I'm surprised he's back because that game show thing that they're doing. I thought he was gonna be gone for longer because the game show with Snoop Dogg, which by the way, I still hope Sasha Banks does a surprise appearance on one of those as a guest spot. But
hey, cuz.
yeah, or it wouldn't be better if it was Bailey and not Sasha? They just like look at each other.
That'd be so funny.
What? No, I didn't.
I wish,
what do you mean?
dude, you know what'd be great is if, the hell's their name? Not Redemption.
Retribution.
Retribution, there you go. They showed up in the tailgate. They have a car there and they're just standing there with their masks on and everyone's like, who are these people?
Yeah, that'd be so good.
It's in Macon, Georgia. They make it apparent. They know where to find them.
Yeah, and they leave the parking lot wide open apparently. I mean, everyone else drives up.
Yeah.
Well, be easy. But I am excited to have Cody back. He's back sooner than I expected. I don't know if Cody versus Brody is the big rivalry that I've always been wanting, but hey, I'm always down for more Cody. I'm curious to see what he does with this, especially considering all the stuff that happened with Brandy before and when she tried to do the thing and now she's good. Like remember that confused everything when she was bad and Cody was good and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my wife sometimes." Like it was weird. And now Brandy's like all good and Cody's like, "Yeah, but now I'm evil." It's like, what's happening in your guys' house? You guys aren't on the same page at all.
They haven't synced up Menzies yet.
Yeah, that's probably it. But I'm happy to have Cody back. Let's see, there's only other two matches on there. What's up? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I love Cody. Good talent, you know. Like you said, I don't see why they're extending the Brody Lee and Cody thing, unless Cody cost Brody the title. I don't want to see Cody come back and then reclaim the TNT title that it feels like they only gave to Brody because Cody got hurt.
I don't even know if Cody got hurt. I feel like they gave it to Brody because Cody got called a mid-carder for life on the internet. So I thought they dumped the title. So that's what I
You
kinda
hurt my
thought.
feelings.
Yeah, I thought he was like, I gotta ditch this thing. this isn't fun. They're all making fun of me now. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Two things before the two matches. FTR came out and instituted a 20-minute brush with greatness rule where you have 20 minutes to beat them or they're considered the winner.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really weird stipulation to me in general. Like, at first it sounds like, so it's a 20-minute time limit match, right? But I guess the idea is that if you don't beat them in the time limit, then it's not a no contest. It's a victory for them. Is the only difference, right? We win by default unless you beat us.
Yeah, which I thought was weird too, to say it like that.
Yeah, I feel like the way they said it, I was a little confused.
Hey, you got 20 minutes to beat us. I like that they're digging in their heels and, you know, bending the rules like that for them.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like you said, the way they worded it was just kind of like, just say, hey, 20 minutes, brush with greatness, either beat us or we're still the champs, not, hey, we win.
Yeah, we get a win.
Win column.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess in a promotion where wins and losses truly matter, it's important, I suppose. I do think that we're going to end up with a dog collar match. It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It just means that when they lose it, they can rematch, which they would have done anyways. Yeah, so Brody comes out and cuts that promo holding a dog collar. So I think we're going to get a dog collar match with Cody and Brody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty old school. That seems like right up Cody's alley. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I just said, which are 2 dog names. My mom has a dog named Brody, and my in-laws have a dog named Cody, so maybe I should strap their leashes together and just let them go at it.
I think probably not. I think Michael Vick would say otherwise.
It's a prediction show.
It is a prediction show.
The dog collar.
And then let's see. Matt Hardy came out again, dude. I'm not a fan of Matt Hardy coming out constantly and saying, "Hey guys, don't hate the promotion. Please like the promotion. Please don't dislike it." It feels pandering, and it feels like begging the audience to not blame AEW for what happened to him. Yet he's still clearly not okay to wrestle, and they keep trying to pretend like he is. They're being really weird and shady about it. And I wish that Matt would just stay home for 2-3 months, so when he comes back, we all think, well, I'm glad he rested. But right now we're thinking, why is he out here again? Producer said something she wanted to say real quick.
Yeah, I was really uncomfortable with him coming out. And each time the past 2 weeks, when he did come out, I was really in the back of my mind hoping for, like he's gonna video in. Okay, just FaceTime in. Okay, that at least would make me feel comfortable that he's not out and about after his clear concussion. And you could definitely tell when he's, losing his words that he's not all right, guys.
Yeah, he was stumbling at speech. That didn't help anything. They could have done videos from the compound if they wanted to include him on TV to beg them to save face. But yeah, go ahead.
They should have brought out the drone with the hologram.
Yeah, Vanguard
too. I got something to say. Yeah. But yeah, and when he was cutting the promo and he stumbled, it just makes it look that much worse. Like, yes, just talking, people stumble, but with him saying, hey, I got a brain injury, no one's admitting to it, but yet, and it's just like, it's just stay at home, get better, let Private Party do their own thing, and go.
Actually, it reminded me that, they were saying it wasn't a concussion, but that he definitely wasn't cleared. So it just reminded me of, we don't really know what you're out for.
Yeah, and like you said, anyone can stumble. I mean, we stumble all the time. But we're not going to the ring drunk.
The drinks have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, the drinks have nothing to do with it. But, sponsorships have nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But your subs will. So anybody, go ahead and put the I in Prime subscribe, the no notifications, the FU and following. Help us out. Buy us a drink. We could use it. But
I'm gonna buy you a drink.
Yeah. So I think that, like you said, anyone can stumble for any good given reason. Obviously, you just saw. I just did it. But when people are concerned about the health of your brain because of some obvious, significant head trauma occasions, it's just a bad look that's unnecessary and not needed. Why risk a guy stumbling over a word when he doesn't have to? He didn't provide anything to that segment. It didn't need him. The show doesn't need him right now, and I don't mean that as someone who's not a fan saying that the show's better without him. I'm not saying that. There's nothing he's providing the show right now that he wouldn't be providing later, or that it wouldn't be fine with living through without him for now. Right now, what I think the fans want is for him to be well. And I don't think anyone's buying right now that he's totally fine. They keep saying when he's cleared. And he goes, from an injury? He goes, no. No, it wasn't an injury. But he's not cleared. Yeah, definitely not cleared to wrestle. because of an injury?
Yeah.
No, we did not say that. So
Waiting my results for my COVID test.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a dietary thing. He's got a lot of high salts, so till we bring that salt level down, we're just not going to risk the dehydration, I think.
He's in a contract dispute. We're just making sure we don't want any
hedging our
lawsuits.
bets.
Yeah.
We're hedging our bets on that one. I do think it's funny and kind of interesting that he's already picking a fight with Jericho. It feels like after somebody was coming in so fervently to work with the young talent, he's quickly going back to the old talent like, I just need someone who's not going to kill me.
Yeah, maybe he just realizes I need someone that knows how to work and not injure people.
Well, Jericho moves so slow he can't hurt someone. What did I say? What did I say?
It's not nice.
What happened?
What happened? Yeah. That dude gets gassed so fast. There's no way he's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
I'm just talking shit because he's a heel. Does that save me when I say that? No.
Yes. Oh. No.
Yeah. But yeah, that was. I mean, those are the other two things that I was just kind of like, I don't know why Matt's out there. The Shida Thunder Rosa Ivelisse versus Diamante match was also kind of a mess, man. I think Ivelisse's got to go. I'm gonna be honest with you. That match was. I was expecting a lot of things because of how much we like Thunder Rosa and how great Thunder Rosa clearly is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's been fair to her the last few times. She's also said that her calendar's clear for the month of October, so I don't know that she's got anything coming up, honestly.
But then AEW did they're doing it back and forth
Yeah, AEW said they want to see more Thunder Rosa. I think also I think that Thunder Rosa is still in contract with NWA. I think that Thunder Rosa became NWA Women's Champion, and I think that meant a lot, and she didn't get to do a lot with it because she was there. She wins it. They do one TV taping there, so she's basically held it for 3 days, and then it's been in her bag ever since. So I think for her right now, getting back out there just to be seen with it, I think means a lot to her. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's negotiations going back and forth and AEW trying to swoop her up because she's clearly an incredible talent that any roster would be lucky to have. And I wonder if she's hesitant saying, but I feel like I have something to prove with the NWA title right now. You know what I mean?
Is it almost like an Alundra Blaze type of thing?
I think more like a Nick Aldis type of a thing. Like how... Well, only in the regard that Nick Aldis had a few contract options, and he left Impact and became NWA champion, and his whole thing was that he wanted to prove something with the NWA title, and he wanted to help brand NWA. To him, that was more important than being part of a larger roster. So I wonder if for her, she's going through that same dilemma of what's more important right now. Because she's also surrounded by people who really, truly believe in the legacy. Talk to Trevor Murdoch about the North American title, the NWA North American title, and that will get you choked up the way he talks about that title and its legacy. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people there who have a lot of respect for what those titles mean and have meant. So I don't think that falls flat on her, even with her being so young in the business.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, all that speculation. I'm talking out of my ass. Let me just say that real quick. I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know. I haven't talked to Thunder Rosa or family or anybody. I don't know any of that to be any bit true. This is all purely speculation from a drunk dude who loves wrestling.
But I get the impression from what we've seen and, just her social media, who she's been close with, that she really does respect the history of the company. And I like when you see pictures of her with, quote unquote old timers, it's like, wow, not everyone, that's just coming up is doing that, unfortunately. So I think that's really, really amazing. It's awesome.
I think it's great. And did you see her animal face paint?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Go ahead.
Cheers to her.
Get to it. Yeah.
Yeah, just cheers to her. That was awesome. I loved it. The only thing, one of the other things that kind of bothered me with her and bringing out the NWA Women's Championship is when she stood next to what's her name? Shida. Huh?
Yep.
Anyways, it made the AEW Women's Championship look like crap in my eyes.
Dude, I thought so too. I was like,
I
there's a
looked at
really
the
nice
NWA
belt over there.
title. I was like, yeah, yeah. I looked at the NWA title. I was like, all right, cool. And then I looked at the AEW, and I was like, oh, that looks like a rodeo belt buckle, not a
Does.
wrestling championship.
Yeah, it did not look good. It did not.
No,
Yeah, I
I was
100%
like,
agree.
this is the one time because they always talked about other talent will bring their titles over here, blah blah blah. This was the one time I was like, you guys shouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
You
you
guys
really
made your
highlighted
title
something
look
there.
like absolute garbage. Yeah. Cheers to NWA for that, by the way.
For having a great title?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Their title looked 100 times better than AEW's. And then when they're side by side holding it, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, but I do want someone to pay Thunder Rosa an awful lot of money for a really long time. So whoever that's going to be, get it done. And I also think that she brings so much to that title too.
Yeah.
That's not to undermine at all what Allison Kay did with the NWA Women's title, but I do think that, unfortunately for Allison, the platform is available now that was not at the time that Allison was champion. So I don't like I said, not to undermine Allison Kay at all. They had a tremendous match for the title. I just think that Thunder Rosa has been given this opportunity, and she is running with it. Dude, what did you think of Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston?
Is Allison Kay Billy Kay's?
What?
I was gonna say, is Allison Kay Billy Kay's sister?
Oh, that'd be good.
I'm just
They're both a bit proper.
kidding. Yeah. But Moxley versus King.
Yeah.
Didn't I like it? It was good for what it was worth. I was a little drunk just because, you knew the outcome.
Yeah, that's the only thing that bothered me about it too.
I think they went great back and forth. They, did good on the outside. It was a good match, but it was almost like watching a movie for the second time. Where you're like, all right, I'm not going to get surprised by anything. We know what's going to happen. Get it done and over with.
Yeah, I almost wish. I think. No, this is what I do wish would have happened. I wish it would have ended in a DQ. I wish that it would have been the first match that they've had with a disqualification finish, because they haven't had one. And I think Eddie should have been pushed to his limit, and he should have gotten violent, and he should have been disqualified. What instead we got was Eddie Kingston, arguably one of the biggest fan favorites out there right now, probably the best talker they have in the whole company, being choked out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same problem that we had with Cage. Them throwing in the towel for Cage.
Mm-hmm.
You're building these guys to be these big mean dudes, but you're not giving them an out. And I don't understand. Yeah. Maybe you can explain this to me better than others have attempted to. I do not understand. I cannot understand, as much as I'm trying, this obsession that wrestling fans have, and this, to me, weirdly placed anger towards a DQ finish. When people talk about the difference between AEW and WWE, the first thing they always say is they go, oh, well, there's all those DQ finishes and nobody ever wins over in WWE. AEW's got defined finishes every time. And I go, I don't understand the problem with the DQ finish, because, I mean, even thinking about it, just as a quick example, Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre haven't had a match that's gone to a defined finish. That's the best thing for Keith Lee right now, because they can't take the title off Drew. And Keith Lee looks like a dude who keeps taking Drew to his limits. And it builds towards the desire to see a clean finish, a selling pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yeah, you keep building the storyline.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can come up with DQ finishes, and still I think it's very minor, is the win-loss records.
Oh.
You hate in the NFL, the Cardinals did it last year. They ended in a tie, and you hate that, and you hate the draw, just like in MMA and boxing, you hate the no contest. you don't like it, but guess what? It's a part of the sport.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. You move on. You know, for like I was kind of like taken back when you said AEW's never had a DQ finish. Like to me, that's really dumb. But at the same time, I look at the refs and I'm like, well, they don't care anyways.
Yeah, the refs.
But,
and for one, it's part of the reason why no one respects the refs, because the refs won't disqualify anybody.
mm,
And they're trying to say they're trying to protect the match and the thing. Honestly, the thing that I think that stays intact is the win-loss record, because you have whoever you want to lose get disqualified instead. And then you build towards a rematch. But clean finishes don't build to anything.
well, yeah, especially since you're trying to build up to Moxley, Archer, and isn't Eddie supposed to be in a triple threat?
No, Eddie was trying to get involved in the title
Okay.
picture because of the whole thing. This is it. So Eddie's done. So now what?
Okay.
What's with Eddie? Does Eddie get another shot? No. Why would he? He lost clean in the middle. He says, I didn't give up, but he got choked the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't have a leg to stand on to say he deserves a rematch. And that's what bothers me, is because I wanted this match to build towards another match. If you had proven these guys could get each other mad enough to disqualify one another, then you can build towards something that's more in their wheelhouse of greatness. This was just a good match on TV. But these two dudes together, I think their potential to put on a legendary AEW pay-per-view match, I think, is there. I think these dudes can talk back and forth. I think these dudes have the grit and just the outright brawling nature of both of them and the believability of both of them, that you build the tension of this non-win, and you have an Eddie say, yeah, but you didn't beat me. Eddie can't say that confidently. He can say that online and be like, hey, I didn't tap out, but you were choked the fuck out. And his response to the ref, because the ref actually tweeted back saying, I had to save you from yourself. I had to end the match. And his response was, let me die in there. Okay, those are your two options, dead or I lost. All right, well, then you lost. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have a leg to stand on. And I think this is the kind of story and the kind of performers where you want that. You want them to have a crazy violent finish where nobody's the winner, to say, let's build towards a larger platform that people will pay to see these guys try to kill each other.
Yeah. And you could have even teased it with, you know, ref's discretion and them fighting on the outside.
Yeah.
And then they bring in a weapon or something, and, it's like, all right, stop, don't do it, continue the match. And then, them just beating the shit out of each other, and you have the ref just stop. I can't take it anymore. You guys are just stop the match. I'm not going to declare a winner. Yeah, I'm not going to declare a winner. You guys are on your own. And then, then you bring up the Extreme Rules or no sanction match, however they want to phrase it, and let the two just be themselves and win over a pay-per-view or even a Dynamite. Put that on a Dynamite, that'd be amazing.
They got to stop giving away their good matches, though, because that's just it. Is like that street fight was considered the best match in AEW history, probably second to Cody Dustin.
Yeah.
I haven't bought an AEW pay-per-view in over a year. You know what I mean? Like, I bought their first 4, and I stopped buying them after that, because there's nothing they're putting on these cards that, for one, is not predictable, and 2, that I care to see. None of their matches. I guess, you know what? I saw the last one because I went to a watch party. It was like a digital watch party, but I did it. But I didn't pay for it, and if I didn't get to watch it that way, I wasn't going to see it, because there was nothing there. They're not building towards anything that means as much. 2 dudes who can make you care, Mox and Kingston. So I say, wait that out. Put it on a pay-per-view, because then if you told me Mox and Kingston in a blood feud for the title and a pay-per-view, I'm going to have to seriously consider getting that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can even do it draw it out. Do it a couple weeks in a row. Hey, we didn't have a clear finish. We're going to do it this week on Dynamite. still not a clear finish. You know, at whatever their next pay-per-view is.
Take it to the time limit, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Just the two beating the shit out of each other and like, all right, time's up. No one won. You know, there's a lot they can do that I feel like they just play it way too safe. And that was one of the things that has drawn me with AEW is that they're supposed to be the alternative. They're not supposed to play it safe. And to me, they just play it safe. Like, all right, you know, let's do this, let's do that. You know, like you said earlier, if Kingston won the title, it would have flipped AEW upside down. People would be talking about it, and that's what you want.
Yeah, people would be talking about it nonstop. Yo, if Kingston won the title, I wouldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, if I, you know, going into the match, like I said, it was like watching a game that's already been played or a movie. You know what's going to happen, and you just kind of, you know, it's on in the background. If I would have seen Kingston win, I would have been like, holy shit, what the fuck did I miss? A, I would have watched it again. But B, I would have been like, holy shit, like, that is amazing. That was unpredictable. It wasn't seen, and that's cool. And that's what I think wrestling in general was missing across the board is the unpredictability. But everything is so predictable. I don't know if it's just I'm older and I'm looking more into it, but back in the day, just the shock value of stuff. It was like, holy shit, not just, you know, people jumping off of Titantrons and stuff like that, but this guy just won the championship? I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you mean Mankind's going to beat Triple H for the title? What? Or no, The Rock. He beat The Rock for it. There's no way.
Spoiler. Don't watch. We'll tell you what's going to happen. Wait, that happened? Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if this was Monday Night Wars style. If NXT was like, don't bother turning to the other channel. They think some schlub, the Mad King, as champion is going to get some butts in seats. I'd be like, holy shit, are you telling me that Eddie Kingston's about to win the title? I'm flipping. I'm flipping right now.
100%. Like, I want to see this. Like, this is Moxley loses? Cool. Because AEW's, only had 2 champions, right? Just Moxley and Jericho?
Yep.
That sounds interesting. You know, I don't think you should flip it every week, but it's been, a year and a half now with 2 champions?
And the most predictable champions you could have had. You're like, well, clearly they're going to put it on those guys. And then they did. And you're like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
And then they had a chance to put it on MJF, and you go, well, that's the right move. And then they didn't. You're like, well, I don't know what you're trying to build here.
Yeah, which kind of just reminds, you know, once again, just going back to AEW starting and saying, hey, we don't want to establish stars, but your 2 champions have been 2 of the most established stars in WWE history.
TNT as well. The TNT title's the 2 most established mid-carders in WWE history.
Yeah.
Cody and Brody?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I said it, you know, when they were doing the open challenge for the TNT, have some guy come over from another promotion, like Kingston, and all of a sudden he wins it? Holy shit. Cool.
Yeah, if Kingston won the TNT title when he had a chance, I'd have lost it.
Yeah. This is interesting. This is cool. This is an alternative. What you're giving us is a predictability and, you know, all right, I could write this. Being safe and not that interested. Yeah,
for sure. I think, and I also am not the type to be all like, oh, AEW's all got WWE people. That doesn't faze me all that much. You can't both want these guys to work somewhere and not want them to go to AEW if they leave WWE and then say, well, yeah, but they came from WWE. You don't get both. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. 100%. Some people are going to have worked from WWE and they're going to be working in AEW now, and I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. I do think it's a little weird that and a little long time coming at this point that the only 2 champions they've had have been the only former WWE champions in the company. Like, okay, you're telling me you have nobody on your roster who's capable or who's that good, and you already took Cody out of the conversation. Like, you by now you should have built somebody that people should be saying should be the champion.
Yeah, not Orange Cassidy that doesn't care. He's from wherever. Ways whatever, or whatever they say. But I will tell you right now, if Miro is the third champion in AEW history, I'm done with AEW.
Dude, people will lose it. They'll riot. And I'd be there for that. I love petty stuff. As soon as Miro wins the championship off of Dean Ambrose, I'm clicking on Twitter and just reading all night.
Yeah.
Let's see how people like this.
Yeah. Yeah, like if they do that, I'm like, all right, you guys are done. You guys signed your death warrant. It was supposed to be something else. It's not.
Yeah, don't bury your homegrown guys, man. I want more of the homegrown. But go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we've said it 100 times. Adam Page should have been the first AEW champion.
Yeah,
like he's out of the elite. I was always a fan of Cody. I liked, I saw he had talent. I wasn't a big fan of Stardust, but I remember telling you like, "Hey, this guy's good," and you're like, he's dressed weird or whatever he used to say.
Yeah.
But outside of them, the only one I really like, because Young Bucks, Kenny, and Adam Page, I've only seen them in AEW. Adam Page is the only one that I'm like, all right, this guy's good. I like him.
Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, he's not in the elite. He was talking about the elite specifically. But yeah, Scorpio Sky should not be he should be booked. If he's going to be doing singles matches, he needs to be climbing up. If he took the TNT title off of Brody, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not happy with how they're booking him either. Yeah, I just don't get it. You got talent who could be there, and you're going with the tried and true. I think they need to bet on. They got to bet on themselves, man, and I don't think they have yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that overall, as we're about to talk about NXT for just a little bit, I thought AEW was a better show. It was more interesting. I felt like there was more to talk about. I don't feel like we're going to end up spending as much time on NXT than AEW because I felt like NXT had a lot more. I mean, I don't want to say it was volatile. I mean, it was like had its ups and downs and stuff. There was things I absolutely did not like, and there's things that I thought was absolutely fantastic. I always think that they could do a little bit better.
I will,
but
yeah, I will say this week, I think it was a tie.
Okay.
I think it was really close. There was a lot I didn't like about AEW, and there was a lot I didn't like about NXT, and I had to pick and choose what I liked. But AEW didn't hands down win me this week, and I think it was 100% a tie.
For me, I think the reason it is because there was a couple things that happened at AEW that impressed me more than just met my expectations, and NXT was just an NXT show that was about the stuff you thought would be really good was really good, and the stuff you thought probably isn't going to be that great wasn't that great. Like it was exactly what the menu said. You know what I mean? Where AEW surprised me with things that I liked that I did not expect to like. You know what I mean?
Yes, and on that point, I think the only thing that might persuade me to give AEW the nod, hence the Elite T-shirt, was the Orange Cassidy. Out of nowhere, was, hey, I don't like this guy. I don't like his gimmick. Nothing about him I like. And then it was like, cool, I'm rooting for him. All right,
yeah,
you did your job.
When the match came on, I actually groaned. I went, oh, God. And then as it started, the producer's like, do you even want to see this? And I was like, no, but I'll watch it. And then as I was watching it, I was all like, oh, shit, this is pretty good. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, all right, that makes sense. I was like, okay. All right, Brody. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bubba come here.
Yeah, I slowly got hyped.
Bubba come here. I do this in my mind. What's up?
All right, so NXT. Let's get this.
All right, NXT.
Yeah.
There's only a few things in there for me, so you're gonna have to basically read it off. What did you think about the women's battle royal?
I liked it that they showed other talent than just their roster. Like, with other people that we're not used to, I should say. I liked it, but I absolutely hate, and WWE does this in their main card, when there's a battle royal and 2 or 3 people come out to their music.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it. When they did that, I was like, all right, it's either going to be Rhea or Candice is going to win it. And, sure enough, Candice won it. It was, just like any battle royal, it was sloppy. You're not going to have a perfect battle royal. But it was so predictable that it just... I was hoping for something else, and then nothing else happened, and I was like, blah.
Yeah. I called it kind of early on as we're watching. We're seeing it with... kind of looked around, and I think by the time we got to like 4 people in the ring, I was like, oh, okay, it's definitely Candice. There's no more wild cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and especially since you didn't see it, the promo that they had with Candice attacking Tegan, this is right before they were supposed to come out, and then they have her come out with her music, and I was like, all right, it's definitely going to be Candice.
Oh yeah, if they were highlighting her before the match and only her, it's kind of like, here's the star, guys. Here's what you got to look at. I'll tell you, to me, the star of the battle royal, Casey.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yes,
it was Kofi. And I don't want to say Kofi because Kofi does different things, but she showed it in the Royal Rumble, and she showed it a couple times. Like, her athletic ability is awesome. The only thing that is her downfall is her size.
I don't think
3'5"
it's a downfall.
is not going to be a women's champion.
Alexa Bliss is tiny. I mean, hell, Zelina's tiny.
She's 5 foot, but I guarantee Casey reaches Alexa's shoulder. And don't get me wrong, I like the tag team of Casey and
Caden.
What's her name?
Caden.
Yeah, I like that tag team. I think this would be cool. I think they should go for the women's championship if they bring the titles back to NXT. But her size, I think
I don't even know if it's that she's that short, but she's not thick.
She's petite all around.
Yeah, like Alexa's got thick legs. You think that she could kick real hard. Casey's pretty thin all around, so when she hits someone, unless she's got a whole lot of momentum behind her, you don't think a lot's coming,
Mm-hmm. And I think, don't get me wrong, I think she'd be a great tag team champion. Put it on her, let her showcase, do it. But I don't think she'll ever be, just like when Keith Lee was in NXT, I don't think you can ever have her versus Rhea. You're not going to have the Rey Mysterio versus, who was it, Batista at the time?
Yeah, even Kevin Nash.
I just don't think they'll have that. Yeah.
And there was something to be said for, as many people talk about Rey Mysterio versus Batista and stuff, there's a lot to be said for the size of Mysterio for his size at the time as well. He wasn't a scrawny little guy. He was a jacked little guy.
Yeah,
and he was yeah. And to be honest, Casey's so good and so athletic that I think if she had any bit more of a physical presence, then it would be a slam dunk. You know what I mean? I just think that she is a little thin for the believability to be easily there. I don't think it's impossible, and I don't know that I would say that she'd never be a champion or a women's champion. I don't know. I think that it would take a bit of working to get to a point where her versus Rhea didn't seem like a silly concept.
Well, it'd be the ultimate underdog. It's the Daniel Bryan story. You got to build it. It's not going to happen by Mania. You need to build this for 2-3 years. And don't get me wrong, if she becomes champion, I would love it. She's awesome. Yeah. I saw her on American Ninja Warrior. I've been a fan of hers. I would love to see that. It just, she is petite on petite on petite, and it's
yeah. So a little bit more muscle, tiny. a bit more muscle.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But my only concern really when I was watching it, I was like, oh man, she's doing a whole lot of tricks right now. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what's she gonna be able to do for the next Rumble? Like if she does
Yes.
11 things tonight, how many ideas has she just crushed through? Kofi did one a Rumble, and he ran out of ideas pretty quick.
I feel like she could practice with Ricochet and come up with something.
Probably. I think that she's probably a little more Spider Monkey-like than Kofi. I think she's got a lot of options. She actually retweets every now and again when they post stuff or doing crazy things. She'll post that with the emoji of a spider web and a monkey. Yeah. So funny.
The only thing I didn't like, and it's just, watching football and stuff, I didn't like that she was eliminated by laying on her back.
What do you mean?
Like, to me, that's down. She's down. NFL. It's elbow, knees. Not 2 feet. She's down.
No. They say all the time 2 feet have to hit the ground, and they've made that very, very clear. Shawn Michaels would never have been your Rumble winner if that were the case.
Yeah, he had 1 foot touching the ground.
Yep.
But, like, if you're on the ground, you're on the ground. If you're laying on your back, you're on the ground.
But her feet were set up in the air. Most people, when they fall, their feet fall with them, not with her.
Yeah, but there's been a few people that hit the ground and then they put their feet down. And, now they're eliminated.
Yep.
I don't like that she was literally on her back with her feet up. And she's like, I'm not out. It's like, what?
Yeah.
If it was 1 versus 1, those were the last 2, and you stay up by staying on your back like that, how the fuck is the other person supposed to win without walking outside and pushing their feet on the ground?
Well, at that point, when she's trying to roll back up, you just kick their feet back down. You know what I mean? Like, their feet have to touch the ground, dude. That's been well established. Super established. Without feet touching the ground, it's nothing. That's the only rules we got.
I mean, she could have turned around and walked out on her elbows and knees and be like, Eddie Kingston, I was never properly eliminated. I need my shot.
Yeah, I kept meaning to go back and watch the Eddie thing to see. I bet you he just, like, rolled out or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have an issue with that. My only concern was, like, you're going to run out of ideas.
Yeah, everything else she did I thought was great. Her athleticism with hooking her feet on the bottom ropes and her core strength just to pull herself up. I'm like, damn, that's awesome. Like, that's great. But if you're laying on your back like a dead dog or a dead roach in the middle of your fucking kitchen, you're out.
You're done here. No way. Feet touch the ground and that's it. I just thought she was doing an awful lot of stuff, and I was like, she's going to run out of ideas or something, and I really want to see her a lot more, so I don't want her to do everything all at once. I really liked her facial expression when Indy, like, tried to big boot her, and she still, like, managed to not stay out. She, like, looks over her shoulder at her and, like kind of grimaces, like, what the hell? Like, it's so funny.
Come on.
Yeah, come on. What are you doing?
Let me back in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked that bit, but I thought Casey was a star here. I thought it was all kind of obvious, and I thought that the more that it went, the more obvious it became. My biggest issue with the finish is that they try so hard to get you to that point of that they kill it. Yeah. They kill it before you get there. Their whole, like, fighting on the outside and then fighting on the stairs, and then they're fighting for ground, and they're only an inch above, and it's like, fuck, stop.
Yeah, I hate that Rumbles and, Battle Royals have come to that. The last
so
two
often
are
on the outside.
The last 2 are only one foot's down. You guys got the insecurity to see who knocks the other person down first. Like, I don't like it. It's just have a clean win, cool. Maybe go, hey, I flipped them over. I thought I didn't, or I thought I eliminated them. They didn't. Bring them back in and keep going. That's fine. But for both of them to be like, they're Chauncey went up the ropes, got kicked onto the apron, and like, oh, she went over the top, and so did she. How is this gonna end? And it's like, well, why don't just get back on the inside before you hit the other person? Why are you still fighting on the outside? Like, this is not good, sports strategy, if you will. And
yeah, the second they both are over the top and on the side of the apron, that's when I'm out. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It's obvious who it is. I'm not even watching anymore. I don't care.
Yeah.
At that point, you guys have gotten silly. At that point, too, it's funny because, producer's watching and she's excited and she likes them and she likes both these women. And so she's kind of like, oh, both these guys. But once they got on the outside, then she just started laughing with everything they did. And I was like, see, there's no tension there. They're trying to get you to tension to where you're going to be all like, oh my God, oh my God, it's the person. But it really just became comical. It was like Three Stooges where it's like, oop, I'm not touching you. Whoa, I'm not touching you. Whoa.
The only thing that I thought was kind of cool was the way Candace slid down the ring steps. And I don't know if that was on purpose or what, but I forget exactly the spot, but she slid down a couple steps and they're like, oh, she didn't touch. I was like, holy shit, that was cool. That was the only time I was like, wow, that's interesting. But outside of that, and I hated the finish. I hated that little somersault thing. They could have done 100 things else that I would have been like, all right, cool. But the little I kicked her off and she went flying. Because it didn't, I don't know if they executed it right, but it just didn't look good.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't like the stair stuff, but I totally get what you dug about it. But to me, that's when it was over the top silly. I remember thinking, oh, that's difficult. That wasn't an easy spot to accomplish correctly. But I was also like, all right, how far are we taking this? Are you guys going to be doing handstands, kicking each other?
Yeah. Rochambeau.
Yeah. Rochambeau it.
I didn't like her, toes were on the edge. I liked when Candace was on her back, and like I said, I don't know if it was on purpose, but she slipped down 2 steps. And it was like, oh shit, did she touch? And it was like, no, she didn't touch. And then, then they kept going, and then I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. To me, I thought the ending of Battle Royals are getting a little overwrought. They're really getting into okay, and then we'll do this spot, and then my foot gets this close, and then we'll do this thing, and my foot will be that close, and then your foot gets to here. And it's all like, I'm not trying to watch Twister. I'm not trying to learn how to 1-2 step. It's getting a little goofy. And if it wasn't all of them, if they didn't all end with someone rolling under the bottom and jumping back in the last second to surprise the person, or 2 people on the outside of the ring on the hard camera side kicking each other till one of them falls down, we're done with that. We're done with that.
Or somebody gets put through a table and they sit there for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then comes back in the middle of it.
Yeah, sleep it off.
Like I said, I've been saying it since that Rumble. There needs to be, just like the NBA, there needs to be a shot clock. Or the NFL, even a play clock.
Yeah.
If you're not back in the ring in 90 seconds, you're out. You're done. You're not competing at that point. You're laying on the outside, taking a nap, and then coming in and, all right, let's go. The other thing I didn't like about this Battle Royal is I didn't like that they kept counting Rhea and Mercedes eliminations. Oh, that's 2 for her and 1 for Rhea. Oh, that's 2 for Rhea and 1 for Mercedes. Oh, Rhea's now ahead 3-2, and it's like, this is stupid. And then the few times that they interacted, but they weren't supposed to at that spot, and they kind of just walked away from each other.
Yeah.
I was like,
whoops.
All right. Yeah.
I would have been okay with it if they, instead of doing a Candace beating up Tegan thing, which maybe you throw that in too, have a backstage spot with Rhea and Mercedes. Even just for a second, I bet I can toss out more women than you tonight. You're on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they go out there.
I could see that.
And then the commentators take it upon themselves. Hey, you heard what they said. Let's keep track.
Yeah. And even put some stipulations like, hey, I bet you this. Oh, I'll bet you this.
Yeah. If I throw out more than you, then this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. And it develops their mid-card, which they're trying to develop, and there's stipulations upon it. Hey, we're the 2 biggest, baddest girls on the block, and hey, if I beat you this, if I eliminate more, then I beat you, and then this happens, and let's face it, against each other again. But for them to count it for no reason, that kind of got on my nerves.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little weird. I mean, overall, I am happy to see Io versus Candice. I do want to see that match. It does feel like another placeholder match. I don't know. I don't think I know who they're going to try and have take the title from Io. And I don't know that I feel confident that they know exactly where they're going with it right now either, which is sometimes fine. But I don't believe for a second Candice is winning that title.
No. It's Eddie versus Moxley right now.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to do it. Prove me wrong, and then I will eat crow, or whatever the saying goes. You know, do it, and then I'll be shocked, and, you know, I will praise you for that.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't be mad if she won. I would be absolutely happy if Candice won. I like Candice LeRae, but I don't believe she's going to win. So if she wins, we'll have a shot just for her. If she loses, we'll have two shots.
Have a shot. Yeah. Don't force us to drink.
Yeah.
But the other thing I don't like,
drink it away.
I don't like that they keep billing Johnny going for the North American and Candice going for the women's. You know,
I don't like it at all.
Yeah. Oh, these couples are going for this, and it's like, why bring their relationship into it? You know,
I think at this point. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I was okay with Johnny going out there and, you know, praising Candice for her win and, you know, consoling her and be like, oh, you did it, good job. But for them to sit there and then be like, oh, they're gonna do this. Can they be the first couple to do this? And it's like, most couples you don't even announce that they're couples. First of all.
Yep.
Second of all, why is this even a thing?
Yeah.
You know, how many titles did Seth and Becky hold at the same time that you didn't say shit about?
Well, no, that's the thing, is Johnny and Candice are trying to be the first officially married couple. And Seth and Becky were only engaged at the time. Stupid. But I think that
you convinced me AEW won this week.
Yeah, that's it. Here's the thing. And this leads into the next match that I don't think we need to spend any time on, to be honest, but Ciampa versus Jake Atlas was a match, and it was fine, and it was a match. At this point, both Johnny and Ciampa, to me, are fifth-year seniors. They're guys who just won't fucking leave.
They're Brooklyn Brawlers.
Yeah, 100%. I honestly think with as good as they are and as talented as they are and as much amazing work as they've put out for NXT, at this point, I think they're dragging down the roster. They just look like these guys who just hang around forever, and you have a whole new class of new talent who deserve a spotlight, and they're not getting it because you guys are still here, and I don't know why. You know what I mean? It's you guys are living your glory days in high school, and you don't want to move on. That's fine, but I'm over it. I'm not invested in any stories they have.
Way to strike a chord, my friend. I'm just kidding.
You did very well in high school. But wait, didn't you meet your wife after high school?
Yeah, way after high school.
Like college, right?
Kinda, yeah.
That's a weird way to say that.
Well, anyways. Yeah.
He's like, one of us was.
Yeah. One of us was in college, the other one was still in high school. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we split our glory days up.
Yeah. One of us was post-college, the other one was still in middle school. We're good.
Yeah, we had a nice little balance.
Yeah, but but I forgot where we were going.
Yeah, so Ciampa and Gargano, to me at this point, they feel like they just won't leave.
Yeah. And it sucks because I'd like to see both of them on the main roster. But I don't see a spot for either of them. Like, you know, not only now, but in previous years. But I think, you know, you broke it up, you did their thing, you brought them back together, broke them up. Like, if they were a tag team on either brand, I'd be so intrigued with it.
Actually, yeah, if they came in and took the Raw tag team titles, I'd be happy with that.
That would be so good. That would be so good.
Yeah. That's just it, too, is you know what? 2 years ago, I think you and I both agreed there's no place for Gargano and Ciampa on the main roster. They need to stay in NXT. They're doing their best work in NXT's history right now. But at this point, you guys have told that story. You saw it all the way through to the end. I need something new, and the thing is there's a whole new class of new people I'd rather see in this environment. I'm ready to see you guys in a new environment. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say they need a fresh coat of paint or whatever, but I think a new environment with a different set of challenges, I think I'm over what you guys have to give for NXT. I'm done with it. You guys did it. It was fantastic. Let's all move on. And right now, I feel like Johnny's dragging down Candice because it's making her less interesting. I feel like Ciampa is dragging down the entire bottom card because for whatever reason, he's got to beat all of them on his way back up to the title, which I don't know what another Ciampa title run's going to do for anybody. You know what I mean? Like what made Balor coming down to NXT, or not even coming down, but coming over to NXT so interesting was it was a new environment, a new look. It was something we haven't seen him do before because even when he was in NXT before, it was way different. So leave for now and come back later. Like especially right now where nobody's traveling anyways. Go, I want to see some Ciampa and Gargano Thunderdome work. And then once the fans start coming back and you're like, hey, I really don't want to travel. I'd really rather go back to NXT. Go back to NXT where it maybe looks different now. But I think NXT needs a break from these two guys.
Yes, 100%. And my big thing with Balor transferring to NXT, it was a shock to me. You know, I'm a huge Balor fan. And love the dude. Love his work. You know, I wanted him, as soon as he came back, to go after the Universal title. That never happened. You know, we teased him here, we teased him there. It was great. Then all of a sudden, hey, I'm going back to NXT because, you know, I was good down there or whatever. And it was like, holy shit, really? You know, it felt like with baseball. You know, the best analogy I can come up with is that you have your majors and you have your AAA. Mm-hmm. You have your main roster, and then you have the little guys that are trying to, you know, make the big roster. And for somebody to sit there and say, hey, I'm leaving a spot on, you know, the Yankees or Red Sox and going back to, you know, I don't know their AAA affiliates, but, you know, I'm going back down to, you know, Sidewinders are dead and gone, damn it. Stupid Tucson.
Toros?
But, that was even worse. I'll get into that later.
You're like, I'm going to need more drinks before we talk about the Toros.
Yeah, God damn it. I'm out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, going back down to AAA on purpose was like, really? Holy shit, why? Why are you doing that? And, you know, you know, we talked about it the last couple shows. We thought they were going to just throw the title on Balor and be like, all right, cool, he's champion. You know, big fish in a little pond, it's happened, cool. And it took him a while, and it's like, cool, let's let this develop. But, yeah, Johnny and Ciampa just need to move on.
I just want to see them. I want to see them doing something else.
Yeah, put them up against the Street Profits. Because apparently Raw doesn't have a tag team to go up against the Street Profits. And take fucking titles off of them. Like, I'm so sick of the Street Profits.
I've got no arguments with any of that.
You know, next pay-per-view. Hey, we don't have a challengers. We're opening an open challenge. All of a sudden, Johnny and Ciampa show up. DIY's back together. Holy shit. Twitter would blow up. You know, social media would blow up. And then if they won, holy shit on top of that.
Yeah, like, they make their debut and they took the titles.
Yeah.
And they're both evil.
Because, yeah. Well, even if they're both not evil. Like,
let them be evil, dude.
No, this is in AEW. But even, you know, if they were face, heel, whatever. But if that happened, like, social media would blow their mind. No Dave Meltzer, no Wrestling Insider would have been like, oh yeah, I saw this coming weeks ago.
Dude, and also imagine. Sorry, I'm trying to get ice.
No, I don't
Imagine they show up, they're evil, and they squash the Street Profits, the longest reigning Raw Tag title holders of all time for whatever reason. But they show up and and Street Profits get they get absolutely no offense in, and like you said, like a minute and a half, it's over. DIY wins, and now they're holding the titles over just the twitching bodies of the Street Profits. People would lose their shit. They're like, oh my God, they showed up and they fucking destroyed and took those. And you have like the Viking Raiders come out and you just have them lay them out and walk out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can have the Viking Raiders come out to protect the Street Profits, and the Gargano and Ciampa pretend like they want no beef. I don't want no problem. They walk around, get behind them, and then boom, hit them from behind, and then they walk out laughing. We laid out both your two biggest teams. Bah.
Yeah, just like nothing, like a side note.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like a side note, that would be amazing. Like Twitter, that would be the #1 topic. Like people would be talking about that.
We got to start booking these shows, man. We'd have Eddie Kingston as a champion. We have DIY as Raw Tag Champions. This would be good stuff, man.
Yeah. Somebody hire us.
Vince, please.
Buy us a bottle. We'll keep going.
We work for booze, Vince. This is for you. We want to do it for you, Vince.
It's because we love you.
Yeah. We love you back, Vince.
You don't love us, but we love you.
But we love you right back. Let's see. Speaking of tag teams, NXT Tag Team Division to me is quite boring, so I'm going to move on past that.
I don't even know who's the tag team champs. Not going to lie.
I don't know. Is it still Breezango?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
That's right.
Oh.
And I like Breezango, and I want them to do some shit, but yeah.
Damian Priest versus Austin Theory was a really good match, but no one was confused where that was going. Actually, so Ridge Holland, what'd you think of that guy?
I didn't see it.
Big British guy with the hat. They cut out Ridge Holland?
Yes, they cut him out, and I was gonna text you. That was one of the things that we were gonna talk about pre-show.
Yeah.
Is NXT wasn't on WWE Network today.
I think it hits at nighttime today, is I think what I found out. So I think it hits an hour before we go.
Because I was sitting there, I was like, what the fuck? And it was like all last week's show and something from 2010, and I was like, alright. Hulu it is.
It's a bummer. Ridge Holland is a really big, mean-looking, Peaky Blinders type English guy. And he came out and dominated Antonio DeLuca. I really like Ridge Holland. I don't know where I saw him first. I think he was in some sort of random tournament-style match like last year. But I know that I saw him... Go ahead.
Was it the... I don't know what the fuck it was called. Not the War of Worlds, but the...
Worlds Collide?
NXT versus Worlds Collide. There you go.
Maybe. It might have been one of those. I know I saw him in the Thunderdome. When Thunderdome was doing their pre-Thunderdome debut, me being part of the WWE Fan Council, because I am good to them, they are good to me. I got the invite to be a part of their, what do you call it? Like their trial. They wanted to give it a run before they went live. So that Friday before, or that Thursday before the SmackDown on Friday, they did about 2 hours of Thunderdome to try out a bunch of the technology and stuff, figure it out. And they had random production guys on commentary. They had a couple random matches. People came out to other people's entrances. Like I think Ridge Holland came out to Shinsuke's entrance. I think I have that. I took a little screen grab of it. So they were just trying stuff out. But he came out and had a match. I don't remember who he had a match with, but I remember being really impressed by this guy. I was like, I don't know who this dude is, but yeah, put him on more. So the fact that he's making his debut here and looking strong, I was really excited for it, and I really want to see what they do with him. I think he's phenomenal. But if you didn't see it, did you get to see the Gauntlet match? The Gauntlet Eliminator match, I should say. I don't mean to speak out of turn.
I mean, it was interesting the way they did it. I like it wasn't a traditional Gauntlet match and the first ever Eliminator Gauntlet match.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish they would have named it something else.
It was a bit of a weird name, but you know what the name did for me? I knew the rules already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, I like rules. I like to party, and I like
Down the
rules.
middle.
Everyone says that about me.
I like to party.
I like to party. I like to party. A boodaloop, a boodaloop.
Speaking of which, here's a word from our sponsors, which we don't have any. But we got to run off for a second.
Yep. Here's a word from our sponsors, which we're lacking. So we're going to listen to 30 seconds of silence as we stare directly into the camera and shake our finger disapprovingly for all of you not sponsoring us.
Yeah,
Marsh is going to sing I Like to Party for 30 seconds.
Ba like the party. Ba like the party.
But feel free to follow us if you're listening to us on podcast. Subscribe. Leave us a little whatever you think about the show. If you're looking at us on Twitch live, you can subscribe if you have Amazon Prime for free and helps us buy a drink.
Yeah, we do like to drink. We don't think you have to drink to have a good time, but we have a good time when we drink. So, yeah, if you go to wrestlingontherocks.com, you can check out where all of our links are in the About section. We have all of our social medias. We have our link to the stores, so if you want to get a Pointless Aggression t-shirt, because that's one thing we are all about here, the thing that sets this show apart from all other shows, the thing that makes us think that we could face Kurt Angle is Pointless Aggression. What?
It sounded like you weren't able to speak for a moment.
I'm never able to speak.
Yeah.
They know this.
Okay.
Check us out there. Find us on twitch.tv/wrestlingontherocks and find us on wrestlingontherocks.com. Let's see. So we did have a Gauntlet and Eliminator match, and the rules on this one was 2 men were going to start in the ring, and every 4 minutes, someone would be added to the ring. They end up having 6 competitors, and they would have to be eliminated down to just the final person. Oh, wait, all 5 men. Wait, yes, 5 men. I'm looking at the numbers. There's a lot of math here. There's a lot more math than you would think. 5 men, 4 minutes apart, an elimination style match. I really enjoyed this match. I thought that everyone had a really good showing. I wasn't surprised by the people in there. Kushida and O'Reilly started the match, which having O'Reilly, I think, going all the way to the end and starting it, it was like halfway through the match that I realized, oh, this match is to make Kyle O'Reilly go like a badass. And I am all here for that. I was saying, just last week or the week before, that I really like the presence of Kyle O'Reilly at this point. I really like his look. I think that he, for a long time, looked like the generic creator wrestler, and now he's starting to have a defined look about him. So I was really excited by the win on this one.
I 100%. I 100% agree with that. Like, to me, unlike the women's battle royal, I was actually surprised by this win. You know, like you said, midway through, I was like, all right, Kyle O'Reilly's looking good. And then
but he didn't have to win it.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have to win it, and it was like they can't put him basically over Adam Cole. And then I was like, wait, could they? And I was like, this is cool, let's see where it's going. even when it was down to the last two, I was like, all right, this is Grimes' moment. You know, like
Yeah. And he hit that
me, I was like
the cave in or whatever.
cave dweller or whatever. Yeah.
I think it's called the cave
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
When he hit that too, I was like, oh shit. And I was like, what a crazy way to get to there. And then he kicked out. Yeah, I flipped a little bit. I was like, oh shit, they're giving this to O'Reilly. And I am all here for that.
100%. I've, you know, as much as I don't like Adam Cole, is as much as I like Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that the divide would be between Roderick Strong and Adam Cole, but if they put the divide between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, cool. You know, even though they congratulated him at the end, it was like, all right, whatever. But I would have almost liked Adam Cole to be like, hey, good job, and just like a little pat on the shoulder and walk away.
I think we're gonna get there. What I feel like my gut tells me is Kyle is not gonna win this match against Balor.
No,
he's gonna lose, and then afterwards, Adam Cole's gonna be cocky to Kyle and be all like, "Well, I mean, you didn't think you were gonna win, right? Like, I couldn't beat Finn Balor. Why would you think that you could?" And then Kyle's gonna be like, "Because I could kick your ass, probably." So,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I think that's how we get there. Is I think that in a loss to Finn Balor, we stir the pot with Undisputed Era, and that's how the whole thing falls apart there. I know a lot of people don't want Undisputed Era to break up at all, and I get that. They're a pretty dynamic team, and I think there's a lot of stories you could tell within them without breaking them up. But I don't know. I'm interested to see Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole. So if that's how I got to get there, then
I mean, I've said it, you know, numerous times. Is I've been faction hungry. I'm all about factions. Give me factions. And Undisputed Era for the good part of 2 years has been the closest thing to a faction that I've actually been like, cool. You know, New Day, 3 members. That's not a faction. But outside of Adam Cole, like, I like Undisputed Era. If Undisputed Era dropped Adam Cole and picked up Balor or somebody else, cool. I'm 100% on board. The only reason why I didn't like Undisputed Era is because of Adam Cole.
yeah.
Just because, the hype train's there and I don't see it. Kind of like Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I agree with that. I even think that if you put somebody in Adam Cole's place, like I was all for the idea of Adam Cole and Balor battling it out for control of Undisputed Era at some point. You know what I mean? And Balor winning, and Adam Cole's on his own singles run, and now you still have Undisputed Era, but you don't have Adam Cole. You know what I mean? Like, that was okay with all that as far as fantasy booking and concept went. For this, I mean, just the idea of Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly, I'm already super excited for.
Yes, 100%. If this was on a pay-per-view that we had to purchase, I'd probably purchase it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I like Kyle O'Reilly. You know, I think him and, what's his name? Fish?
Bobby Fish?
Bobby Fish. I was going to say Robert Fish. It's like a little Bobby Roode thing. But,
oh, yeah.
You know, I think they've been a great tag team. Like, it'd be cool. You know, Kyle O'Reilly, like, I've always liked this guy. And for him to actually get this push right now, like, A, I was shocked, and A, I loved it, and that was B, I loved it. But C, cool, let's go with it. I'm not very good at letters or numbers.
Yeah, you've always been poor with the alphabet.
Yeah. C and B and carry the one and let's do it.
Yeah, fractions haven't been your thing, so the alphabet was especially hard.
Yeah.
I do think it was a really good match. I thought it was a really good showing. I really like Bronson Reed. I'm happy that he's always in that number one contender contention spot. I like that with his, as new as he is to us, they're still putting him up there in almost every single the winner of this match gets a title shot match. Because
big moments.
Yeah. it lets him loom about on a level where you're like, he could go next level at any moment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I like
But
that
see,
for Bronson Reed.
at the same time, I love Bronson Reed. Thick boys, yeah, unite. But I feel like they put Cameron Grimes on the same level, and I don't see them eye to eye at all. I know there's a big, maybe not a big, but there's Cameron Grimes followers, and they're like, oh, he's good when he's doing his caveman stuff and this and that. But I've never liked it, and I'm a redneck, almost cowboy type of person, and I'm like, I don't like this guy.
Well, he's making fun of you, dude.
Yeah, to the moon.
Wait, what? What? No. What?
I thought he was one of me. He's not one of mine.
Yeah.
But I
just. He does come off a little cartoony.
Yeah, I can't get behind his character. Like, I think he's got talent, and I like it. And, don't get me wrong, he sells a promo. He is great at that. But just his character, and I almost feel like AEW or NXT looked at him and was like, "Hey, this guy pulled off a caveman, and people liked it. Let's give him
the closest thing to a caveman we could do."
Yeah, let's give him a cocky redneck. Cool, let's go. And it's like
he's a little cartoony, and he's all invested in that character, which I dig. I am liking. They just made the shirt said "To the Moon," and so I don't remember him saying it before, and I could be way off on that. But I feel like this week when he cut that promo and he goes, "Going to the moon," I loved it. I was like, Cameron Grimes, I do not like you. I want you straight to go to the moon. I hope you do make it to the moon.
We need to have a shirt that says "Going to the moon, shine."
And then it's Clump showing his butt.
Every time Cameron Grimes comes out...
No, that's Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh. Every time Grimes comes out, Marsh is always like, oh, he looks like he smells.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I can smell him.
Yeah, 100%.
I know what he smells like.
You look at people and you're like, that person smells. Cameron Grimes, he smells. Robert Pattinson, he smells. The Bella chick from the Twilight series, she looks like she smells.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a finely tuned skill I developed in New York. Because on New York, you get on one of those subways, and sometimes you walk into a subway, you get into the car, and there's 100 people there. And there's one distinct smell. And then you start looking around. You're like, where's this smell emanating from?
And then you can find him.
And then as you look around, you go, there it is. That's the person with that smell.
Yeah, there's someone sitting down and they've just got nobody around them because everyone's huddled to the other side of the car because no one.
Well, that happens sometimes. I think sometimes it's a little more subtle. And I think there's different variations of this smell. And I think that you can always find it. I think that once you've lived in a big city long enough, you can find that smell. And Cameron Grimes would be one of the people you eyeball and go, oh, I better get to a different subway car.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk between the cars as it's in motion.
Yeah, Yahtzee, I found who smells.
Yeah, Yahtzee.
Cameron Grimes.
To the moon!
To the moon, baby!
But I do think he's believable for whatever reason, as goofy and weird as he is. He comes out and you go, all right, this kid can't wrestle. And then he does the cave-in immediately on someone, and you go, okay, well, they're murdered. So, yeah, I guess he could do that. I didn't think he could do that. So he comes off as believable and non-alarming at the same time. It works, man. It works. So I agree with you. There's something about Bronson Reed where you look at Bronson and you go, I don't want to fuck with that guy. That guy I need to make my friend. Because when shit pops off, he needs to look at me to protect me, not otherwise.
Yeah.
But,
he's got my back, front, center. He surrounds me.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah. I'll crouch beneath him as he does everything it is that he does. And Cameron Grimes
Same.
doesn't give you that same
No.
feeling, but I do think that there is something about both those characters that could feel easily next level and believably next level. I feel like Cameron Grimes could snake out a shitty victory over the North American champion and have the title. I feel like he could do a dastardly deed and have that title, and then everyone says you're not a true, and he just won't give it up. He just keeps doing something disgusting and winning. You know?
When you said dastardly deed, it reminded me of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Snidely Whiplash. Like, oh, I beat you. Yeah, got one over on you.
Cameron Grimes got to work on his mustache game.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I like Cameron Grimes. I want him to do some shit. Like, do your shit, bro. You gotta keep going. But I just can't take him serious. He's, like you said, too cartoony for me.
Yeah,
But
he's a little cartoony
if he was
for sure.
like, yeah, if he was like sneaky and like backstabbing, devilish, like that can work 100%.
And I think he could get there. The other thing is these are the guys that I want with more. Not that these guys are never seen, because obviously we know who they are, and they got T-shirts and they're going to the moon. But
Thick baby, thick moon baby.
Thick boy. These are the guys that I want to be in more prominent storylines. That I feel like that Ciampa and Gargano are kind of huddling over right now. These are the guys I want to see in those spots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also get it if Gargano and Ciampa are honestly and truly at this point coaches trying to teach these guys how to get where they're going. I get that too. But
see, and that's what it feels like to me. They're like, hey, I'll beat your ass in the ring. I'm going to make it look believable for me. But at the end, I gave you a good lesson, and you take it from here.
yeah.
And, you know, outside of that, like, them coaching each other or coaching the other talent, like, I with no knowledge about anything because I'm kind of dumb, but that's the way I look at things with them.
Yeah. I don't have anything to... I don't have much to add on that. I agree. You know?
That I'm dumb? What the hell, bro?
I definitely agree in your dumbness, dude.
Damn it. I'm out.
Yeah. You are the dumbest. That much is clear as day.
There's no argument on this part.
Yeah. No, I agree, dude. I agree. Yeah. You are stupid.
Yeah. That statement was 100% accurate. Nailed it.
Yeah. But did he tell any lies, though? Did he tell any lies, though? That's how the internet is. That's how the internet feels. The internet is pointless aggression.
It is. I hate the internet. Internet,
With that in mind, you have to get faster internet speeds. As much as you hate the internet, I want you to have faster internet speeds at home.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Probably.
We'll see. But I think that's all I had to say about the shows this week, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Drunken Banner, which obviously we don't cover that kind of shit. But Drunken Banter.
Oh yeah. No, we can keep drinking. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
We can keep drinking as long as you keep funding. And I'll tell you this. Right now, I'll say it on the air here. We'll tweet it out later on this week. Follow us at WOTR The Show to get more deets on it as we go and get a picture. If we get 50 subscribers on twitch.tv/WrestlingOnTheRocks, Prime subscriber or otherwise, we'll raffle off for all of our subscribers an autographed AJ Styles comic book. We'll do that right here.
Bullshit, I want that comic.
We'll see what happens, man. Then subscribe. Subscribe, you'll be in the raffle.
I've already entered 5 times. Do I got it? No, I'm just kidding.
It's all. No. We all read off the winner and like, yay, that's my wife. Yeah. What?
Yeah. I did it. Wait, what?
Wow.
Next week it's behind me.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that? eBay.
Yeah, eBay. I got one on eBay.
100% eBay.
So guys, like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends. If we get to 50 subscribers on twitch.tv/Wrestling on the Rocks, we're going to give away an autographed AJ Styles comic book. We're going to post pictures of it later on this week. So find us on Twitter at Wrestling on the Rocks. Nope, at WOTR the show, and at Ref Marsh, and at Kevlar on the Rocks with an X. He'll retweet it. I'll make him. Kev, if that's it for you, is that last call?
Yeah. If not, we're just drinking until somebody cuts us off.
Yeah, so
Which
you
I'm
just
good
get
with.
producer come over and just go static.
Yeah.
All right, Kev, I'm going to throw it to you for last call.
All right. Last call. Everyone, one last time for Animal. Cheers.
Cheers.